when I started trying to promote myself as a speaker, I built a website. And again, it was that whole field of dreams thing, right? Build it and they will come, like anything else. The realization was when I started checking my log, nobody was hitting on my site. So that's when I said, okay, how does this whole search engine marketing work? And you're going to hear two terms, search engine marketing and search engine optimization. The search engine marketing is basically you promoting yourself. The search engine optimization part is how do you attract search engines to your site so they can rank your page even higher. So what we're going to do is go through some of that. This is going to be a show and tell type of presentation, okay? I'll be jumping between presentation into the websites, and we're going to be going back and forth. Get it? Got it. Good. Does internet marketing work? We can talk about it, but I think it's easier just to show you, okay? That's a contract dated December 13th of this past year. My booking fee is $7,500 for a 45-minute keynote. How did they find me? The web. $7,500. They've now purchased 800 books on top of that, and it's going to be, we think, a crowd of almost 2,000 people. They will videotape it, provide DVDs, and actually ship out the DVDs to all their distributors and all their customers. What do you think of that marketing? Amazing. This is what they did. This is the company. They sent out a magazine nationwide because I think it's better to show you. And look at that handsome devil in there. They sent out this magazine nationwide that my mother-in-law, who I often talk to, I told her I'm a speaker. She's like, yeah, whatever, right? She actually calls me. She goes, I saw your face in the magazine. You know, like, you really are popular. You know what I mean? You know, I was like, wow. But it's this type of stuff that we want to get going. This is called momentum. Because once people find you, once you get a break like this, because 4 years ago, man, I was looking for this break. Can you feel me? Right? Because all of us are going, God, I just need one good break, right? All of a sudden, they put out magazines nationwide. I didn't have to do anything. And they put it out there. And this is what I'm trying to get to. When you go into the search engine marketing business, what you're trying to do is get people to your website so little good things like this can happen. Get it? Yeah. Good. So nationwide magazine, pre-purchase 800 books. We'll get the video and DVD mailed out. You can't get this type of promotion. Here's an email. I want to share with you some of my email. And I'm not making this up. 2/16, which is February 16th, a little over, less than a week ago, a little over a week ago, rather. The NSA, the National Security Agency, look what they say. I found your book, The Logic of Success, What Great Leaders Do to Win. Blah, 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 blah. We'd like to know your fee so you can come speak. Guaranteed gig, $5,700. Next. 2/21. You're going to love this one because this was weird. Stephanie writes me an email. Says, again, I'm contacting you because here at the BBC, we're searching for a relationship expert / life coach to host a new TV series. I'm like, oh, hell no, right? Somebody's sending me a prank email, right? So I said, all right, let me call, you know. Sure enough, I called New York. This is the BBC. I'm like, oh, hell no, you know. And so I talked to her. So by next week, I have to send them a video. Now, will I probably get this? Hell no. But I'll think positive. But I'm just saying, does it matter? Oh, hell no. Because it's the coolest thing that can happen to you. Do you know what I mean? Just to be able to tell this story. What I'm saying is they found me through internet marketing. Now, this guy, 222, Richard East, calls me, Bucharest. Calls me from Bucharest. I'm like, where? You know, because you look at the caller ID and it had these out of area. Oh, hell yeah, they were out of area. So he calls me up and says, look, we're putting this program together for, you know, the automotive industry. We have, I don't know how many, I think it was 30,000 distributors for this automotive industry. We're putting together this series for success, and I keep typing in subjects on the mindset of success. That's what he said, the mindset of success. He says, your name keeps coming up. I'm wondering if we can interview you and include you in our package. I'm like, sure. It's not going to cost me anything, is it? He said, no. He said, I'll call you up, set up the conference call. Send him some notes. We did the interview. Look who's on. I don't know if you know these names. Ari Galper, Unlock the Game, very well known in the sales business. Joe Calloway, known. If you don't know who John at duct tape marketing is, you should. They're on this whole program. This was done and completed within like 2 weeks. They sent me the audio of the interview, edited with beautiful music before and after. They did the CD graphics for me. They sent me the 45-page transcript, which is a book, right? So now I'm going to offer a book plus the thing called Engaging the Mindset of Sales Success. It's a beautiful thing. I didn't do anything. But he found me because he kept searching on the internet. Does internet marketing work? Yes, it does. So let's see how we can do this. All right. Internet myth and reality. Over 1 million pages are created a day. This is what I want you to think of. Here's the visual I want you to have. You've seen a confetti parade, right? Think of confetti. You got it? You got it visualized? You're one of those pieces of paper, and you're asking somebody to find it. Impossible, right? How do you stand out when that many pages are being created a day? Net continues to increase. Shopping is growing. E-commerce is alive and well. The bubble is over with. The market is upswinging. People are spending money. Websites are not safe. That's a lie. The shopping carts are great. I'm going to show you some of the shopping carts I use. I'm going to give you alternatives. I call it the Volkswagen. I'm going to give you a Maserati to choose from, depending on your budget. Websites don't generate money. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into 4 sections. We're going to talk about product and service, establishing a web presence, e-commerce, and then promotion. Here's the logic behind this. You need to sell something, right? So we need to define what we're going to sell. So let's start there. What are we going to sell, and how are we going to sell it? Once we do that, we're ready to build a website because we know what we're selling. Am I right? All right. Then we talk about how do you set up like the merchant's account, the shopping carts, how do you do all that stuff, and how do you do it without spending a lot of money? The last part is, this is where we talk about promotion, search engine strategies, search engine optimizations, and everything that has to do with you generating traffic to your website. I'm going to show you logs and everything. I'm going to show you what my stuff looks like, and then we'll compare notes. And again, at any time, if you have any questions, just raise your hand, okay, and ask the question. Get it? Good. All right. The double funnel. This is a business plan. This graph is a business plan. I started writing a book, and I said, I got this concept in my head, and this is the way the double funnel works. By the way, I registered at doublefunnel.com. Anyway, so what it is, here's where most of you are at right now. A, B, C, D, E. You got a bunch of ideas. You're good at a lot of things. Well, Victor, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. Visualize yourself moving into the funnel, and I ask you to pick the top 3. Push yourself further into the funnel. I say, pick the one thing. One. That's it. You can only go one. One thing. What is the one thing you want to talk about? What is the one thing you want to sell? What is the one thing you want to promote? You come outside the other side of the funnel. Now, for that one thing, you create P1, a speech, right? I write a book. I get a DVD or audio series, right? Move further out along. Well, now I got shirts. And what else? Coaching, whatever it may be. You expand on that one idea. I was telling somebody a story about this lady in Miami. True story. If I ask you the question, can a dancer make at least $100,000 a year? A dancer. By the way, a legitimate dancer. I ask you the question. Most people would doubt that a dancer makes a lot of money. Most people in the arts don't make a lot of money, right? Let me tell you what this lady in Miami did. She loved hip-hop music. She really loved hip-hop music. But she wanted to really find a way to mold it into a business. So what she did was she created these classes every week, right? So for 1 hour, she taught kids how to dance to this hip-hop music, right? Now, it's clean hip-hop music. Now, families signed up because when you're faced, I got a little girl, when you're faced with ballet, jazz, or hip-hop music, the majority are going to go for the third option. You know what I mean? Because that's something they could use in school. They don't want to look like a nerd next time they go to the dance, right? Kids, sign up. $25 a lesson. Or if you sign up for the whole month, you get 1 week free. That's $75. You sign up 10 people a day, or for that 1 hour, you run the numbers. So that's what she did. She started out with that one class. Now, what is her one thing? She's a dancer, and she loves this type of music, and that's where she's going after. One thing. She then adds to that, I thought it was a creative idea, she gets licenses for certain songs that she wants to use on the CD. She pays royalties, but every time she sells a CD, she keeps about $10 per CD. Another revenue stream on the outside. Get it? She then creates these overalls. You had to see them. They're like overalls, farmer overalls, and then it has hip-hop kids in graffiti. Now, if somebody buys one, everybody in the group has to have one, right? Because you don't want to be left out. $80. It's all yours. You know what I mean? So then she creates videos. A lot of students within 1 hour can't get the groove. So what she does is she records herself and she sells them the video, right? Capture market. Another profit-generating revenue, right? Doesn't stop there. Every 3 months she's got to have a showcase because everybody wants to show their parents how good they are, right? Now, she's not cheesy. She doesn't charge the parents to go to the showcase, but I'll be videoing the showcase, and if anybody wants a copy, $50, fully edited, right? Another revenue stream out the other side of the funnel, right? But to me, what really took it to the next level was she franchised the whole system. $30,000, $50,000, 30 to 50, you can buy the whole system. By the end, and I think the number's right, by the end of the third year it was $2.5 million that she was at. $2.5 million. If you go to hiphopkidswithaz.net, I think you'll find the website. So let's go back. She figured out the one thing. She created multiple streams of income, which is what you need to do. Your website should sell one thing. Your website should sell one thing. Don't put a bunch of stuff on there. If you're selling your speaking services, damn it, that's what you're selling. Sometimes I go to a website, I don't know what they're selling. Have you been to those? You're like, well, where do I click? What do I buy? I don't know what this person is. We try to do too much. This gets back to focus in on one thing and then expand that market niche. I mean, this is an MBA in 2 funnels. If you follow this model, you got it. So I say, get it? You say? Got it. Got it. Good. All right. So I want you to write this down in your books. Just help me out here because I'm going to come back to this. Describe your product or service. Quickly. One sentence, describe your product or service. If you don't have one, think about maybe something you like to do. Describe your product or service. Okay? Just think about what it is you want to sell, want to do. Be focused. Be focused. Be focused. Be like the squirrel. Have you heard my squirrel story? No? Who's from Minnesota? We got one guy from Minnesota, right? He'll understand the story. I lived in Minnesota for about 10 years. And in Minnesota, I had a neighbor, his name was Harold. And Harold always had these bird feeders outside, hanging on his tree. But every day, the squirrels would get the food. So one day I saw Harold, he was like, putting a bunch of grease around the base of the tree. Theory being that if he greased up the tree, the squirrel couldn't get up, right? And get his food. But you know what happened, right? Squirrel got the food. Next time I saw him, he was wrapping this metal, aluminum around the base of the tree with the same philosophy. The squirrel won't be able to climb up and get the food. But guess what happened? The squirrel got the food, right? One time I saw him put this funnel. You ever see those funnel dogs have? So they won't bite themselves? Well, it was upside down with these jagged edges. It's kind of cruel, actually. So, but again, philosophy being that the squirrel won't be able to get up. Squirrel got the food. I mean, he tried everything. Putting the bird feeder at the edge of the branch. Hopefully the squirrel's weight wouldn't be able to support it so it wouldn't get the food. Every time the squirrel got the food. Now, Harold died. And I still remember driving away, seeing squirrels still going at his food on his yard. And why would the squirrel, and why is the squirrel always going to win, besides the fact that Harold's dead? Okay? But why would the squirrel always win? See, because 24/7, 365, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 plus leap year, that squirrel's thinking about one thing. Get that food, right? Because that's all. Get that food. See, for you, it's the same thing. How do I get that money? How do I make it in this business? You got to be like the squirrel. Can you feel me? Yeah, all right, good. All right, good enough. All right, now, you're like, where the hell's he going with this? Anyway, I know. By the way, market segment. Define your market segment. Write down your market segment. Who are you going after? What do they look like? Who's your market segment? And if you're writing a manifesto, you got a problem. Should be a couple of words, 2, 3 words. All right, next step, keywords. If I was searching on your site, for your site or your information, for your services, what 2 or 3, no more than 3, what 2 or 3 words would I search on to find you? Write them down. What 2 or 3 words would I search on to find you? 2 or 3 words, no more. Okay, think about it. 2 to 3 words. I'm searching. I'm on Google. I'm on Yahoo, whatever it may be. 2 to 3 words to find you. For those of you already done, let's say you had to start today fresh. You don't have a website. I want you to list out maybe 3 good domain names that you'd like. Call them dream domains. Based on your business, based on your market segment, based on your keywords, domains. Just write them down. If you have your website already, just write your website down. Just write your own website down. Okay? Okay? Everybody's writing? Great. All right. Next slide. Checklist before you build the website. Here's the checklist. Purpose to find what are you going to sell. Okay? That's why I asked you, what are you going to sell? Are you going to sell a product, service, or both? You got to have your copy looked at and written well. Copywriting is essential. I mean, it is essential to actually not so much attracting traffic. That's only one part of it, but converting the traffic once you get there. If you remember reading my website that Get Speaking Gigs, what I hopefully communicated was I'm a real guy. I'm not going to fluff you with information. Did you get that feeling? Yeah, right? It comes across, and it was a story. Do you remember it was a story? Those are called one-page sales letters, by the way. When you see a long format like that, it's a one-page sales letter. And what it's meant to do is as you go through it, you go, yeah, okay, there it is. Bye. Okay? Those are effective, but I'll show you that you have to have more pages behind it. But for now, suffice it to say, all you need to do is make sure you have great copyright. Okay? Get it? Got it. Good. All right. Website's laid out. Again, make sure you define your pages. One of the things that I did that helped me when I first started is before I went to a webmaster, because every time you go to a webmaster, they're going to charge you for every little change. You know what I'm talking about? Everything. Want to change your name? $50. Just whatever. So what I did was I laid out blank sheets of paper, and I titled each paper, right? I remember just laying them on the floor, and, you put the home page on top, and you just title them, and you start writing an outline for each page. So when you go to a webmaster, basically you give them all 5, 6, 7 pages, says this is what I want my website layout to look like. It'll save you time, money, but it'll actually help you understand the flow of your website, especially if you start going deep into your website, which I'm going to talk about why you should. Okay? I talked about the method of blank papers. Select pictures that you're going to use for your site before you talk to website people. Okay? Again, because if you go to them, they're going to say, I got to charge you for it. Okay? There are a lot of free photo bucket resources out there where you can get photos based on what you need. Okay? You don't have to pay a lot of money. The internet marketing business has changed. Website development isn't what it used to be. 5 years ago, for you to get a website developed, you had to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Today, dirt cheap. You can get them done for $200, $300. And I'm going to show you how you can get access to that information, okay? Contact information. What I did, I just suggest this. Make sure you have a P.O. box with UPS, because the last thing you want is somebody showing up on your doorstep if you use your home address. Are you with me on that? Okay? And do not contact a web designer if they haven't completed the above, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. Make sure you get that out of the way first. So again, purpose defined, write your content, lay out your pages, get your pictures in order, get your contact information, whether you got to set up a 1-800 number. I like to use my cell phone number as my contact information. I mean, there was a time where it just didn't look right. Everybody wanted the 1-800 number. I don't think 1-800 numbers are as important, this is my opinion, because they used to matter when it used to cost for you to call long distance. But now everybody has free long distance, so there goes that reasoning. Okay? Now, what you can sell on the site. Books. If you don't have a book, the easiest book to create is a quote book. Find books, a lot of quotes. There's they're all over the website. I got some resources. And just create a book of quotes, based on a purposeful, alignment. For example, if you're about sales, then write a book about sales quotes and just list the quotes out and have it published. Have something to give to people, okay? A collaborative book, I think this is a fascinating idea. For example, if you were Pro Speakers Bureau, I'm sure this is going to happen down the road, but if you got a bunch of people within an organization, have everybody contribute one article, let's say, on leadership. Put them all together and then publish it with everybody's name and face on there. Then all of a sudden you have a collaborative book. Everybody has one, and everybody sells on their own. I've seen this done in the college market a lot, by the way, that people do a lot of collaborative books. It shortcuts the process to having something, okay? Now, This is the site I always refer people to, the instantpublisher.com. When I was trying to find out how to publish my books, this is not really print on demand. Print on demand means they still own the book and you just still have to pay them back. I won't get into that. Instant Publisher is clean in the sense that you go up there, you download their software, right? And basically their software lets you import your Word document and lay it out. And then you upload the document, you send them your graphics, and all you have to do is order a minimum of not 2,000, not 2,000, but 25. That's the minimum you have to order. And I believe the number of pages is 25. Now, smaller quantities, bigger dollar cost. But I think even at 25, I think it might be like $5. But what's cool about Instant Publisher, if you go up on the website, they have this thing where you just enter the information, number of pages, and it gives you the price. And so you can see what it costs. I've communicated with the guy who runs Instant Publisher. His name is Chris. That guy has hooked me up so many times when I needed rush orders, especially on this 800 book deal we just did this week. He was great. I mean, he just rushed them out there, and he shipped them directly to the event that we're going to. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
What is the initial cost?
There is no initial cost. There is no. Isn't that shocking? If you don't order, you don't pay. So what you do is, by the way, let me give you my website where I keep all my great information. Go to mrgoodweb.com. mrgood, G-O-O-D, web, W-E-B.com. Every time I find something free or something cool, I put it on that website. So if you go to it, on there, and this is the promotion for my man Fred Gleek, on there, there's a guy named Fred Gleek, who I think is a genius. And his information is as real could get. He gives you 5 free books, and all you got to pay is your email address, which you can later unsubscribe if you don't like. He's got something on how to put on seminars, how to make it in the speaking business, how to promote yourself. And by the way, these are not cheesy books. I think one's about almost 200 pages long. This is fantastic information, and I can't believe he gives it away, and I'm sure his list has grown by leaps and bounds just because of that. By the way, something that's not often mentioned is about getting a book real quick. How many have heard of the Gutenberg Project? You know what the Gutenberg is? There's something called royalty free is not the word. It's where the books are free. What is the word I'm looking for? Public domain books. And there's several books on there that are public domain. One was, I believe, is the, now I'm thinking the author, just slipped my mind. But you can take these books, because they're public domain, and resell them. And you can resell them. Yes, resell them. You can package them up and resell them. And what I did, and I'll show it to you later, I took one book, right? I wrote the introduction for it, and I forget the title, the person's name. And anyway, but you'll know the name when I show it to you. And what happened was, I put the introduction, and on the bottom of the book cover I designed, I put forward by Victor Gonzalez. And what I then did is I put the book on my website, and I give it away for free. Right? Because some of us think, well, I don't have anything to give away of value. I just told you, you do. Okay, so if you look up Gutenberg, I think it's gutenberg.org, you should find it. And they're public domain books. How do you spell Gutenberg? Good, I knew you were going to ask that. G-U-T, maybe another T-E-N-B-U-R-G.net. And if you don't know who Gutenberg is, think printing press. There you go. .net. .net. E-books. Some of you may or may not be familiar with Adobe programs. You have a question, Jay?
I did on the, first of all, Fred Gleek is a great name, so we'll discuss it a lot.
Okay.
But on the book, what quality, what style, what does the book look like?
The one I gave out, if you like The Logic of Success, that's Instant Publisher. Okay. I believe the one Calvin has is Instant Publisher. You know, so, and I'll show you the book. Here you go. This. By the way, I had the same suspicion. I had him mail me a couple of books. I don't trust you. I was like, nah, it's too cheap. Because in the past, you'd have to pay a lot of money to get a lot of books. Again, to create an e-books, it's simply an Adobe program. Are you familiar with Adobe, everybody? Okay, you convert your Word files over into Adobe. They also have a lot of e-book programs that you can use. The reason I don't like e-book programs is because it scares people off, in the sense that a lot of e-book programs are actually executable programs, okay? Executable files, which means you have to download it. It'll say exe file, and then it'll have to go through a whole setup process. And that scares you because you don't know what you're downloading. So I prefer not to use them, and the majority of people have Adobe Reader already anyway, so just use that, okay? It's safe. Audio CD, you know, you can record via computer. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with audio now. On that website, Mr. Goodweb, if you look under MP3 recorders, I put a bunch of free MP3 recorders. You go get your $10 Radio Shack microphone, plug it in your computer, download the software, and you can record whatever you want. And you can put it in MP3 or WAV files, whatever you want to do. Why? So you can put it on your site. And maybe you wrote an article. Maybe you can read the article and have an audio file up there. Again, it makes you look bigger, but you're not spending a lot of money. Okay? Go to MrGoodweb.com, and there's a lot of MP3 programs I put up there that you can just download for free. And if you've never used download.com, you know, you'll find treasures at download.com. Just enter what you think you'll need, and you'll find a lot of free stuff that you can try. Okay? I use a software program called Acid. What I like about Acid is that it actually lets you record your audio, right, like you're speaking, and then it lets you mix in music. But I mean, it gives you this incredible control as far as controlling the envelopes, the pitch, the rates, and the whole bit, and you can really do magical stuff. So when somebody hears it, I mean, it's pro. It's like it was done at a shop, and it's not that complicated. You have a question, Mike? Nope? Okay. Other software programs, SoundForge. I'm sure some of you have heard that. I've not used SoundForge, so is it a good program?
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
easy to use also. The software programs have changed. You know, for some of us older folk, we're intimidated by technology. But you have to understand, programming has changed. No longer is it like C:// enter the whole name. You know, it's really just click, drag, and you're in there. Okay? Video, DVD. You know, video your events. I'm just trying to tell you how to get products on your site, okay? This event, we're videoing it. Why? Because eventually we'll put it on the site and repackage it and resell it. Okay? That's what you need to start doing. Like I said, 4 years ago, I wanted to be here, and I am now. You can do the same thing. Whatever your market niche is, there's no reason you can't do your own smaller seminars, okay? And I know this is basic, and I know you know most of this stuff. I'm just going over it. For services, if you want to add coaching, coaching is a big thing. A lot of people want coaching. How many people do coaching here? Okay? Okay. See, I can't do coaching. My time won't allow it. But it's another revenue generator. So anyway, we talked about product and services. This is stuff you know already. Are there any questions on this? Because I don't want to dwell on this too long. Because that's not what internet marketing is about. Any questions? All right, get it? Got it. All right, now let's talk about establishing a web presence. These are some basics for folks, okay? So I don't lose anybody, because I'm going to use these names afterward. This is you. There's a surfer. Remember the big cloud? Okay, that's the net, and your web domain is parked somewhere on a DNS, a domain name server. The way to look at the internet, if you're intimidated by it, is your website is your automobile. And you got to park it somewhere on the internet. That's called hosting. Okay? When you park your website, you got to have a hosting company. Okay? A domain name server is actually the number for that parking slot on the internet. Now, I do a lot of, and talk about hosting, I do a lot of reseller hosting programs. You guys know what that is? Yeah. Using a reseller program is good if you have more than one site. Okay? Because if you're hosting one site, it can cost you anywhere between $5 to $7 to $15. It no longer costs you $100 or $200. If somebody's charging you that much for hosting, you're getting ripped. Okay? So what I did is I found something called reseller programs. And a reseller program is basically they give you this chunk of hard drive. And you can use it for different domains. So I run about 24 domains right now under one account. Okay, 24 domains under one account, and I only pay $19.99 a month. That's it. And because when I talk about leadership, I wanted to do the Hispanic market. I want to do the corporate market. I like the internet marketing market. So if you go to MrGoodweb.com, that's one site. If you go to the Logic of Success, that's another site. You go to VictorGonzalez.com, that's another site. And I'm going to show you some of the other sites I got floating around down there. But all for $19.99.
Can you tell us who your hosting service is?
Oh, yeah. My hosting service is hostdime.com, HOSTDIME. A.com and look for something that says reseller program. What's great about it is that they give you this control panel where you can actually go in there and look at all your sites. You can actually look at how much hard drive you've used. You can also look at the amount of bandwidth that you've used. Think of bandwidth as the number of minutes on your cell phone. Because every time somebody downloads something, you're using up minutes, bandwidth. And it lets you monitor that. And it lets you adjust them as you need them. So every time I have to do an event, I can pop up a new site in less than 2 hours. Yes, sir.
Do they have ASP, Cold Fusion, or MySQL?
Do they have ASP, Cold Fusion, or MySQL? Yes, yes, yes.
Good.
All three. All three. They even got their own shopping carts, but you got to know the code to install them. I'm not that good. But they have free chat rooms that you can put on there, so you don't have to buy another program to have a chat room. It's free. It uses up one of your SQL databases. SQL is just a database, just information pours in, and you're using it. So it has all that information. But just to use these panels, you just need to know the basic. I want to have multiple sites. I just want to set up a web page. I want to check my mail. I want to check my traffic. That's good enough. Yes, ma'am.
Do they all direct to the index page?
No. When you look at the index page on your, when you have a website, you have one index page. So let's say your website is what? FYI.com Inc. Okay, so that's your home page, right? Now your home page on, that's your index page?
Your index page is the first thing that's going to come up.
Well, here, let me zoom out. Let me zoom out. You got a website called A.com. You can have B.com, C.com, E.com. It doesn't matter. They're all parked on this server. So different traffic is coming into different sites at any given time. Okay? Not just through the main site, the A site. They come into all sites. Okay?
All directed to the home page.
No, each site, it's transparent to you. You don't see it. They just look like another website. So her website, your website, all these websites here are just websites. But they're all on one computer hard drive, on one server. But you as a surfer can't tell that. Okay?
I have a reseller account.
Okay.
I have my site.
Right.
I have like 6 different domains.
Right.
Under my site.
Right.
They're all coming to my one unless I set them up as different accounts. Is that correct?
Yes, you have to set them up as different accounts. Each website has to have its own account because you want to track each website's traffic.
Right, and you wanted to go to that page, that index page, not the one from the original.
When you sign up, okay, and I'll show you how I do it. When you sign up to, let's say I want to check the GetSpeakingGigs.com traffic, I log on to GetSpeakingGigs/cPanel, and I go into there and I look at my website, okay, irrespective of the others. So it just lets you resell and put a bunch of sites on one server. And I'll show you that, and maybe it'll become clear. But it never refers you back to one page unless you're forwarding or redirecting them. If you're redirecting them, you're wasting your money because there's no point in doing that. And I'll show you why later, okay? And we can talk about it in detail. That's just too deep, but I can get into it, okay? There's no point if you're redirecting. You're just losing search engine points is what you're doing. Because when a website, here, simply stated, if a search engine thinks that you're redirecting it, it like takes away some points as far as your ranking. Okay, just brownie points. You know, because why am I going to this page if you're redirecting me to this page? I won't rank these, I'll just focus on this one. So then these become useless. Okay, so redirecting is not good.
Does the same logic apply with multiple domains pointing to the same web page, or is that a different animal?
When you have multiple domains pointing to one, what will happen, here are the subtleties of this. And again, we're getting into detail, but what happens is that you can have 2 websites set up on a reseller program. And we talked about this earlier on the side note. It's on one IP address, okay? You can put one to the other, but it doesn't really count in terms of link backs. And we'll talk about link backs. It doesn't count.
I'm just talking for ease of use for someone to find you, not to brand under that different domains. My name could point to career.com,
Right.
career stuff, all pointing to one main site.
Yep.
Will that hurt you by just using domain forwards to come to your main site?
If I've learned,
Not having duplicate sites, just all pointing.
right, what I've learned is that if your information on 3 sites are all the same, the search engines are smart enough to knock 2 of them down.
Well,
You know, by the way, now, and if you start forwarding them, you realize that your outbound links are probably going to be too quick or too many of them. And they say, well, if you're both pointing to this site, then this is the important one, and these two are not important. And I'll get into that, okay? But again, forwarding, you have to be careful. And I'm going to go into inbound, outbound, backlinks, and all kinds of links, okay? So what's a search engine program? A search engine is just a giant program. It's a giant program. And what it does, I want you to visualize that you just build a website. This is your website, www.com, okay? This is your website. You just build it. I want you to imagine, visualize that there's this file cabinet right here. Do you see it? That file cabinet represents the internet. You just built the website. The page is put right on top of that file cabinet. Unless somebody has your direct address, when they do a search, it would only find what's in the cabinet, right? The program, the search engines, are what they call spiders and crawlers. Sounds creepy, but basically what they are is programs that scour the internet, and they're looking for new content. They come, they see your new content, and say, ah, it's a new website. They look for your keywords, and we'll get into that, and they say, ah, I know where to file this one. And they file it in the cabinet, push in the cabinet. You have now been indexed by the search engine. You can now be found on a search. And the way you find out if you're actually indexed, in the search box, you type in your website. And if nothing comes up, you're not indexed. Okay? If you come up, that means you're indexed, and now it's a matter of getting you ranked higher. Okay? You want to be indexed. The program for ranking is always changing. If somebody tells you, because I've seen people ripped off on this, is that somebody will come to me and say, look, I'm a search engine optimizer. I can guarantee you I can get your site ranked high. Right? Have you heard that pitch? And I love that pitch because it's usually with a big clause. It depends on the keywords. Right? Because it really depends on your keywords. Somebody says, well, my name is, what was your name again, sir? Oh, Lou Hampton. Now, I tell Lou, I can get your site ranked high. Lou's key question should be, on what search terms? I'll probably respond, not being honest, say, well, I can get Lou Hampton ranked #1. So when people type in Lou Hampton, yeah, they're going to find you. Well, yeah, of course they're going to find you, because you're probably one of the few who have that name, right? But now ask them to rank you #1 under sales trainer or motivational speaker, and then they start choking on their own words. Well, it's not that easy. Yeah. So don't let anybody think that they can guarantee a high search ranking, okay? What they're trying to tell you is that, look, I can put it in there for keywords, but it's probably keywords that nobody uses. And that's why you're ranking high. Get it? Good. All right. Search engine no-nos. Things you don't do, okay? Doorway pages or redirects. A doorway page is that you set up one page. That's it. You just put one page, and as soon as somebody hits that page, it redirects them over here. The search engine will delist you if they catch you doing that often enough. Okay? Another one, hidden text. You know how some of you are real clever? You try to type in your favorite keywords with the same color as the background. The search engines can see that. Remember, search engines can't see color, but they can see code, and it's in your code. And I've seen people do that. I've seen people stuff words all the way at the bottom of their page. If you scroll far down enough, and they'll put motivational speaker, motivational speaker, motivational speaker, motivation, and they keep repeating the words, thinking that all these keywords are going to draw a lot of traffic, and I'll explain why in a bit. Don't do that. Keyword loading, again, a lot of words at the bottom. Flash. Do not put flash on your websites. You know how some of you have that intro flash? You know? When is the last time, I'll ask you the question, when is the last time did you do a search at the first page that came up was a flash? You can't remember, can you? See, a search engine program cannot read a flash movie. It's not a program. It doesn't know. There's no text there. Now, they're trying to compensate by new flash programs have where you can put keywords in there. But what happens is that when a spider comes along or a crawler comes along, it has a certain amount of buffer. It says, I'm going to buffer the first 500 kilobytes, right? The first 500 kilobytes I'm going to buffer. I'm going to look in it, and if it's good content, I'm going to go in deeper, right? And what happens is, as soon as it gets to your site, it hits a flash program. And the flash programs are in the megs. It says, poof, too big, I don't see any content, moves on, doesn't even index you. Now, search engine or website developers will tell you, but it looks cool. Well, yeah, It does. It looks beautiful. There's a difference between artists and optimizers. And that's the big difference. When you're looking for somebody to do your website, you got to find somebody that can do both. Okay? That combination. And how do you do that? It's real easy. Next time somebody wants to sell you on optimization, search engine optimization, ask them, well, you're a website designer, so your keyword should be website design Georgia. So I should type in website design Georgia, and you should fly up on the first page. Right? And if they don't, you go, well, how the hell are you going to rank me when you can't rank yourself? Right? There's the litmus test for you. And I know I'm being hard, but I got to, because a lot of you spend money or are going to spend money on your websites doing things you shouldn't be doing, spending money where you don't have to be spending it. And there's a lot of people out there ready to take your money because you don't know this. And everybody wants to sell you on the flash because they'll charge you an extra $1,000 or $2,000. It's a movie, Victor. You're going to love it. Now, put it inside your website. There's little programs that you can use inside your website, beyond the home page. You can put in there and say, see Flash Movie. That's where you should put it, but never on the index page. Okay? Get it? Good. And again, test the designer. See how they rank. If somebody's going to tell you, I'm an optimizer, I can get your site ranked high, see if their site even comes up. Okay? Choosing a domain name. .com stands for commercial. .net, network and associations. Org, nonprofits. .info, information sites. .biz, hardly used, business sites. .tv, the new one. Are you seeing the .tvs now? The thing is, they cost a lot of money. They're like $34 a year to register, per year, so they're a little expensive. I've noticed that .com sites get ranked higher. Next time you do a search on anything, see if they're a .net or a .com site. So if you don't have a .com site, you may want to consider getting one. Don't ask me the logic behind this. I'm just telling you, when I look at something and I look at what's coming up, I hardly see the .nets. I don't know if that's a bad thing. But then again, there's a lot of sites out there that rank high. So again, this is just my opinion. It's not gospel. Choosing a domain name is critical. Once you figure out who you are, here's some naming tips. Okay? In your domain name, look at the keywords. Go back to the keywords that you wrote down. Go back to the keywords that you wrote down in your book. Look at your keywords. And does your domain name contain any of the keywords? If it doesn't, you're losing brownie points on the search engines. Welcome to reality. We all want to be clever with our names, and that's okay. You can brand your name, and that's okay. But understand that the search engine is going to just bing you a little bit just because you don't have that phrase. So I'm going into sales training, which is what I told you. I register salestrainingsystem.com, right? Because when a search engine sees that, it says, well, this must be a sales training site, right? Get it? Okay. Now, if the domain name is taken, you might want to consider a dash. Let me tell you why that's key. If you have a site like The Logic of Success, The Logic of Success, if you can read this, no, you can't read that. You know what? I'll describe it. It's easier. Give me, who has a domain name here? Just give me a domain name. Storytellers.net. Okay? Storytellers.net. It'll go through and it'll say S-T-O-R, story. I think it'll pick the story up. Tellers, I think it'll get that. I think yours is good for storytellers. Give me somebody else. Bridgepoint Events. Okay, Bridgepoint. So when it looks at Bridgepoint, does it know how to stop at bridge and then go point? Do you see what I'm saying? Unless somebody types in Bridgepoint, it's not going to be able to find it. It might confuse it. The first three letters, the B-R-I-D, let's say it was a word, brid, might mean something else. So it might rank you under brid. Okay? And that's the danger you run sometimes. But I think you're good on that one because you can't confuse bridge, I think, with anything else. Okay? But they might just say, okay, this is Bridgepoint. I might want to rank this high under bridges. Do you know what I mean? And the search engine's funny that way. By the way, let me be clear. I'm not telling you to go change your domain name. I'm just telling you how the search engines look at these things. Yes, back there.
I hyphenated my name because I was doing a lot of TV and radio interviews.
Right.
And there's another person that has the same name as me.
Right.
Who's much more famous than me.
Right.
But she was getting a lot of my phone calls.
Right.
And after I'd be seen on TV. And after a while, I started getting some of hers. And what I did was, I wasn't using my name. Her name is Marilyn Joyce. Right. And so I hyphenated mine as Marilyn-Joyce.
Right.
And so I'm ranked on all the search engines, the same place with her.
Yeah. Again, the search engine is just a program, and maybe it doesn't know how to split the name up. That's my point. Sometimes it doesn't know how to split the name up. That's why you want to make sure that your first phrase is really part of your keywords if you're starting out a new domain name. So if I'm going after the sales training business, that's why I said I need sales training something, system.com. It's a long name, I understand, but I know it's going to give me higher rankings on the search engines. Good point. By the way, I think owning your domain name is probably one of the biggest assets you can have. So if you haven't registered your domain name, by the way, here's some examples. I put like sales-training.com, okay? Motivational-speaker.com. These are taken, by the way, by somebody else, not me. But they thought of the idea also. But again, it's one of those things that you can look at. Yourname.com. If somebody has your name, like I didn't realize there was a lot of Victor Gonzalez's out there. And about 3 years ago, I remember I wanted my name. And what I did is I put it on what they call back order. Are you familiar with back ordering your name? And basically what it is you can go like, and we'll go into GoDaddy so you can see that program site I use where I register my names, is that you can say, I want to back order this site. And you pay $18, and it constantly monitors that thing for when it expires. When it expires, it grabs it for you. You know? And poor Victor Gonzalez, the other guy, you know, he had a webmaster, and he let it expire. And he wasn't aware that it expired. About till a week later, he sees my mug up there, right? Like, hey, it's mine. You know, oh, he emails me back. He emails me, I didn't mean for my domain to, you know, expire. And again, feel, found, right? I hear what you're saying. Because I, too, have been in that position where I didn't have my name. I found patience to be a virtue. So so I registered it for 10 years, you know. It's mine. So I grabbed the Victor Gonzalez with a Z and then Victor Gonzalez with an S. I grabbed them both. I was like, no, I'm taking this one. Now, are you asking, you're wondering, don't you feel guilty, Victor? Oh, hell no. I waited 3 years for that name. It's mine. So anyway, it's a valuable asset, especially when you start branding yourself on your name. Yes? Yeah. When you go to GoDaddy, we'll go in there and just look for the back order feature. Because there's a couple I have on back order that I really want. I doubt if I'll ever get them, but you know, you put the $18 in. And what's cool about it, if you kind of give up on the fact, like let's say somebody renews it for 20 years, you can now reassign that $18 to another domain that's probably held by somebody else. You don't lose your money, okay? You don't lose your money until it's used. But they do grab it for you. It's pretty great. It's pretty good. There's the back ordering feature. By the way, so when we talk about internet components, for those of you who are familiar with the internet, I realize that this part is a little tedious, but let me go through it because there's a lot of people in here who probably don't know as much, okay? So just bear with us because then I'll accelerate. Okay, the URL is just a domain name, right? You need hosting, okay? When somebody talks about hosting, it's about parking your website on the internet. Posting is the act of putting it up there, okay? Posting it up on the internet. And then editor programs. I use Front Page to do my software editing, to do my web design. I don't recommend it if you're a little afraid of technology, just a little. What I did was I went on GoDaddy, and it has this program called Website Complete. And here's the beauty. I mean, for $14, by the way, you can register a domain name for $8.95 at GoDaddy. I found one that's cheaper. I think it's the number 1, and one.com. No, it was cheaper than that. It was like $2.99 or something. Somebody punch it up, one.com. The thing is, I have all my stuff on GoDaddy. I don't feel like switching everything over, but I was like, whoa. Yeah, it's a great site. It really is. But for yes.
If I may just interject here.
Absolutely.
Network Solutions.
Network Solutions.
Will transfer it at the same price.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They're all very competitive.
They're all very competitive. But do you remember register.com about 3 or 4 years ago? Used to charge you $35. Those bastards. Yeah, you know. And, you know, they tried to actually sue GoDaddy and lost a lawsuit because they were losing a lot of business to them. So it's interesting. So you can get the website now. It's about $8, $9 for a whole year. I mean, you got to think of the investment here. When sometimes people say, well, should I build a website? I mean, let's look at the cost. You can get hosting for $5 a month. I'm just amazed at this conversation I have with people sometimes. I don't know if I should build a website. I'm like, okay, look, I'm giving you the cheapest alternative. You can buy the software at GoDaddy. It's called websitecomplete.com. And I think it has over 400, 500 templates. And you can pick by project. And when I say it's click, drag, put your picture here, put your picture there, choose your color, choose your style, it's all in there. Yes, ma'am.
One thing about the template.
Yes.
You don't have control over that if you don't know HTML.
You do not. But let me correct that. No, you don't get lost in it. You got basic templates, but let's say you're just starting out. You don't have a lot of money. Let's be specific as far as who should use that program. You're just starting out. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have your messages fine. You just want to start and just get something out there. That's who should use that program, because they're not going to make a lot of modifications. They're not going to know HTML, which is the code program that goes behind the web page. They're not going to know any of that. But the great thing about the Website Complete, it actually has a search engine feature where you can actually plug in your keywords, and it posts them right in there, into the code. So I don't know if you've seen Website Complete, but it's a little more advanced than the others. You can actually put in search engine information into these sites. By the way, it's all tab written. So you click on the tab. Now, as you're moving up and you want to charge that $2,500, it might not be the way to go, okay? You might want to talk to the digital diva on this or something else. You don't want to do this, okay? Because they'll look nice, they'll look plain. But again, it's a great start. But once you want to get into some more, just more enticing type of, design and get great copywriting, I mean, this is what you're going to need to work on. And you're going to have to find somebody to do it. You got website back there, copywriting over here. You need it, okay? So when you look at the total cost the first year, it's $9 more or less, for the domain name, $60, which is 5 times 12 a year, $14.95 for a program you keep. And by the way, you can have them mail you the CD as well, so you can have that. And the total cost the first year is $83. The second year, because you own the program already, it's at $68.95, which is about $5.75 a month. Now, see, when I have conversation with people and they tell me, I don't know if I can really afford that, I'm like, I can't make it any cheaper than this. They have made it so cheap that you can't get away from it. Now, I just noted down here, I use Front Page. I enjoy Front Page. It allows me the flexibility I want. It's not that difficult to use, but again, if you don't want to invest time learning it, find you somebody who can do the programs for you. Alternatives for building a site. Write these down, highlight them, whatever you got. You go to elance.com. You say, hey, I want a 5-page website. This is my content. Bid on it. You'll be amazed. You will be blown away by the amount of website bids you'll get. Some $100, $150, $200.
That's what I paid, and it's a kick-ass site.
Everybody bids.
Unbelievable. From India.
They're from everywhere. Everybody from all over the world bids on doing your website. And remember, $200 here is not a lot of money. Over there, it's more than a monthly salary. Yes, sir. And there's another freelance. There's a bunch of, and the other one is freelance.com. If you want somebody, you can also use Rent-A-Coder. Rent-A-Coder actually can write software programs for you. The guy, John, for duct tape marketing, did something very clever. He had somebody write a press release program. And all it does is a simple program that says, okay, enter your header here, your title, right? What's your content description? And your byline. And you just poke it in, and it just automatically generates this press release. He gives it away for free. What's the cost? Your email. It's a great giveaway. It's got to cost him less than $100 to get. Again, it's great resources to use. Again, you can get web hosting, web design, hosting, editing, copywriting, brochure layout, logo design. Everything is on that site for you to use. All right, here we go. All right, so we got this down. Now, question was asked about logos. I got to tell you this story because this just happened about the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I wanted a logo, and so my friend introduced me to this website, mylogodesigns.com, right? This is what's cool about the site. It automatically puts in $20, and you can pay whatever you want. You can put 0 on top of the $20, but you got to pay $20 minimum. And I said, well, if I put 0, and my friends told me about this, so I'm like, nah, there's got to be something wrong here, right? So I said, I'll put $100, so my total is $120, because maybe they'll give me a decent logo, right? And so they sent me the first batch of logos, right? This is what they sent, and I don't know if you can see it, but look at the handouts. I was putting my new site together called the Sales Asylum, which is what I'm going to register my company on there, right? You got to be committed to get in, right? That whole bit, right? Yeah. There you go. So they gave me all these for, and I go, that looks too corporate-y. Yeah, that's cheesy. I sent them back, rejected. Try again. I said, maybe the last one, but you're missing, right? So they came back, they gave me these. Now, these look pretty nice, right? And, yeah, they look better. And the reason I don't think they can steal them in this case is because they're using your name. So, you know, they may be able to, I mean, everybody's seen this. Jeez, it's everywhere. I said, I don't want to see that guy with the bald head again. Do you know what I mean? Because I see that logo in all its manifestations, and it just does nothing for me. So I sent it back going, you know, I said this one right here, I said, I don't know what the hell that is. You know, and I actually wrote that. I don't know what the hell that is. I said, these are not even close. I said, and I think I told her, come back again. So then she came back with this one. I'm going, I'm frustrated at this point. And I'm thinking, by the way, the reply back to me is, what do you think of these? Please let us know. Every time. I'm like a nasty bastard, right? Damn it, these things are off. They're not even right. You know, get the color right. I said, focus on the sales asylum, right? She writes back, what do you think of these? Let us know. I mean, I was like, I'm being killed by kindness here, right? She comes back with this. I said, I have no idea what the hell these are. And I said, the first one, I said, he looks like a mutant, a genetic deformation. I said, there's nothing insane about that guy. This one, this middle one, with the mustache, I go, what the hell is that? This one had an arrow. I don't know what it has to do with the sales sign. Anyway, she came back with this right here, and I said, okay, look, stick with the red and black. Let's at least narrow down the colors. Okay? Then the last one she came back, and I chose that one, the sales asylum. Yeah, it shows a gate getting into the asylum. Good enough to start. For $120, you can even pay less if you want. And again, I'm only sharing this with people who don't have a lot of money to spend and are unsure of their brand. But I'm telling you, if you want to be a $2,500 speaker, you better speak to somebody like Jay Stone, right? Because that's what you're going to need. But again, I'm trying to give you this and a little bit of that. Get it? Good. So, but you should try it out. You may get your logo on the first shot, you know. But I think she was happy when I said this one. She's like, thank God, you know. Okay, here's something I noticed about search engines that nobody else is going to talk to you about. Remember I said it's cool to have the keywords in your domain name, right? Because the search engines have figured out something that's just fact. And in case you're wondering how I know this stuff, Google had to register their patent for their search engine about 7 to 8 months ago. That means they had to divulge basically what their algorithm structure was so nobody else would copy it. Now, I know most of you probably have not read that. It's about, I think, 80, 90 pages. So I go through it. I said, what are they looking for? Because they're trying to protect their algorithm, their program, without giving away how they do it, right? And so one of the things I noticed is that if you have your key name in your domain, and then you have it in your email address, it ranks you high. Because why would you use a bogus email address? Think about it, right? It has to be a real email address because it has to go somewhere, right? By the way, don't use free email. Don't ask for $2,500 and then go, Hotmail, Yahoo.com, and then, you know. By the way, this right here, or AOL, and then this, you know, best speaker at, you know, clever, you know. Then you got 1 liter at AOL.com, clever. All right? So, but register your yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but it's not good. It's not good for business.
But wait a minute, it's not free.
It's not free. It's not. By the way, can we replace that with MSN? Is that free? Okay, something else. Yes, back there. Question.
To respond to her about AOL, my question would be, why would you want to advertise with them?
Right. There you go. By the way, the question back there for you is why would you want, this is advertisement for you. You realize that, right? Yeah. So you're advertising AOL, not you. It's not free. It is documented on tape. It's not free. Got? All right. Registering a domain name and hosting. By the way, it should include your email address. Again, look at what I did here. I registered tophispanicspeaker.com. Then I registered. Now my email would read info@tophispanicspeaker.com. So that means it found it in my domain name, and it also found it in my email address. Brownie points, move up, okay? And I'm telling you, I tried this out, I tested it, that thing works. But again, this is not to say go back and just dismantle your website because you just want to get the email points, okay? Don't do it. Question?
How many different emails are you checking when you have?
One.
Because they all come in.
Yeah, because what I did is, what I do is I forward them all to info@victorgonzalez.com.
When you reply, it comes from VictorGonzalez.com.
Right. But only if I want a brand. For example, it's a good question. She asked, where are all my websites pointing to, right? And again, as far as the email addresses, I bring all my email addresses back to victorgonzalez.com. So I just check the victorgonzalez.com email. What's cool about that is that when the email comes in, it comes from that address. So it'll say info@tophispanicspeaker.com. I can see it. Now, if I see Top Hispanic Speaker, I can reply with Victor Gonzalez because that's who I want to brand. But let's say I have a website called High Tech Selling, right? It's hitechselling.com, okay? If somebody comes in through hightechselling.com, I would log into my High Tech Selling and reply there. That's one of the rare occasions I do it. The thing is, once I begin aligning everything in terms of selling, and that's why I need to bring everything under either selling, one silo, Hispanic, another silo. Okay? Yes?
Just to help with that, if you have Outlook, it allows you to have multiple accounts where you can reply from any of them. Yeah.
You can. The answer was you can reply from, who uses Outlook here? Everybody uses Outlook. Well, you can set up multiple accounts and just reply based on that. Good point. I forgot about that. Yep.
I do transfer through my website. I've changed internet service providers a dozen times.
Right.
But it's totally transparent because my email address never changes.
That's right. You can move your server everywhere. As long as your email doesn't change, it's fine. And then what I use free email for my junk stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I want to get free stuff, Victor's inbox at yahoo.com. You know, free email. All right. Now we got product service. I'm only having fun with you. Establishing a web presence. You just made me promote AOL on camera. You know that? Again, right now. Okay. E-commerce. Let's talk about e-commerce for a little bit. Okay, now, we got product and service. We know how to build a website now. Am I right? We got a website now. Now I got to make money. Amen to that, right? Now we got to make money. All right. Let's see how we can do this. You know how this whole merchant account thing works? Who's familiar with merchant accounts? Okay. It's basically, I think I put steps on the next one. Oh, let me explain it. When somebody buys something from you, several things have to happen. There's the server, wants to buy something off your website. Well, we have to know if it's a valid user, right? So we have to check their credit card company, right? That comes back, and then it has to be smart enough to tell you, hey, deposit the money in my account, and it also has to be smart enough to send me a notification that I just made a little bit of money, right? A merchant account is basically this gateway that moves you. The gateway is it's a general term, but under that, basically you have to have a bank account. And I think I put the steps is that you got to register your company, right, with the state, register your company with the state, then you go to the bank, you can open an account under that name, then you contact the merchant account to say, hey, this is where I want you to route the money once it's bought, and then you just set up your shopping cart, okay? Again, Digital Diva's back there. You can talk to her. I'm sure she knows how to use shopping carts. Am I right? Yes, ma'am. All right. And again, it'll give you notification. This is what I usually see. You know, if somebody buys something, I just check my receipts. So basically, I log into my account, and I see who's bought, what they bought, and where. Yes?
Just a quick question. One other thing that you wanted to do is also send a message to the purchaser.
That's correct. That's right. The question is, would I also want it to send a message to the purchaser and just basically acknowledge that the purchase has been made, their credit card will be charged, and yes, so you should have some type of autoresponder capability within that shopping cart. Good point. Okay? So register your company name. These are the steps. Register your company name. Use the registration to open an account. Again, this is what you're going to need for the content provider for the merchant account. He's going to want to know all these things, your business name, business number, your bank account, and everything else surrounding your business. A merchant account typically costs about $200 to $400 to set up, okay? And they usually take a small percentage off of every sale you make. And they vary from, I don't know, 1 to 3%, depending. So this is one way of doing it. I found a cheaper way. No, kind of. But not exactly. This But by the way, what you're starting to see in the market now are intelligent shopping carts. Do you know what I mean? They have everything. Before you'd get the shopping cart, you'd have to buy an autoresponder program. You'd have to buy a newsletter program. You'd have to buy an ebook program to automatically download. You had to buy program after program after program and try to put them all together. The shopping cart I use, if you haven't heard, is called oneshoppingcart.com. That's the one that has everything. I think every major speaker / person in internet marketing is using that shopping cart. Now, what a lot of people do is they private brand the shopping cart. They'll give it a different name. Okay? Fred Gleek has what? Webmarketingmagic.com is really oneshoppingcart.com. What he does is very clever. What he does is he sets up an affiliate program, which I'll get into later, but if you register through his site, he gets about, I don't know, let's say 20, 30%. No. If he's private labeling it, he gets 50% of the commission, I believe. That to be the point. So what he does, he promotes that, hey, use my cart, use my cart, use my cart. So everybody uses his cart. He's getting 50%. Okay, now, by the way, he's not taking money out of your pocket because no matter where you sign up, it's still that same price. Okay, so he's just collecting a percentage, and that's what a lot of people are doing. Last I checked, to buy that private labeling and for you to do it was $10,000. I was like, damn. I'm not doing that. Anyway, create multiple products, both digital and physical. Create recurring orders so you can track your customer reports. By the way, you can also design pop-ups within that shopping cart. I got to warn you, this shopping cart is not for the technophobics. If you don't have patience, you don't have the time, you want to hand this over to a web designer or somebody who knows how to use this stuff. Okay, it's got ad trackers. Ad trackers are great because sometimes you want to put 2 different ads on your website and you want to see which one gets the most click-throughs. And it gives you all these tracking reports to which one is actually clicking through. And this is good for you to know from a marketing standpoint. Database client emails. If you buy something, you register for my newsletter, it actually puts them in databases. You can segment your databases any way you want and really be able to blast out to each database in particular, okay? It has what they call opt-in and double opt-in. Opt-in is when you just opt in, you give them your mail, and you send it up. Double opt-in is you register, then they send something to your email, and you have to confirm that that's what you did in case somebody else signed you up, okay? This avoids any accusations of spam, okay? Segment client by products. Send newsletter by segmented list. You can send multiple newsletters to your different databases. This, I thought, was key. It automatically downloads your PDF. So let's say you wrote a book. It automatically will download it right there and then. What I do in some cases, I try to download it and also send you an email with the link, just in case. Because sometimes when you send a download it, a pop-up blocker will block it and won't get through. So I still send the email. But that's powerful because no intervention. If you set it up right and it works, somebody buys your digital product. It's not like you got to go home and ship it to them or anything. It's there for them. Okay? It's got page redirection, and again, be careful how you use that. Autoresponders are automatically included. Affiliate programs. An affiliate program is basically when Lou sells something on his website for me, and I give him a percentage. This software will track a specific code I give to him, so at the end of the month, I know what to pay Lou. And Lou also knows what's owed to him because he also gets a confirmation of what orders actually came through his site, okay? And I'll get into that a little more detail a little later. You can earn reseller commission. Again, you can actually you can resell that by putting a link on your site, but I think you only get like 20, 30%. So you can still recommend the shopping cart, okay? And again, the tool of choice, I pay $69 a month for my service. And it includes, what's that? The what? I think it's 79 then. I swear I was paying 69, but call it 79. So all this in one shopping cart. Again, you may think it's expensive, but it really isn't. So if I just told you can build a website for $6 a month, right? Host it with software and everything. Now you got this shopping cart for $79 a month. I mean, you're still doing well. You're still in the $90 range. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever used PayPal?
Yes, I have.
And what would be...
This one, by the way, this one accepts all major credit cards. Okay? And I believe in PayPal, you have to have a PayPal account, correct? Right. That's the difference. And a lot of people don't want to set up a PayPal account. Okay. What's that? Okay, I stand corrected. You don't need a PayPal account. I don't use PayPal anymore.
Okay, so because you found this to be
Actually, right.
but
Well,
does anybody
wait a minute.
what PayPal wouldn't do that these programs this
I think if you go into PayPal and you go back and look at all these features it has, you will not find all these features. It doesn't have. So, by the way, I don't want to get into a discussion right now about going into details and comparing shopping carts. I'm almost positive that PayPal doesn't do any of these. If I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected, but I'm almost sure. Another option that's similar to PayPal is if you're still saying to yourself, Victor, I'm already spending $6 a month on the website and I really can't afford it anymore. Which I've heard people say, I got a solution, I guess. Try tocheckout.com. Okay? It's called tocheckout.com. It's only $49, one-time fee. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles. What it is that as soon as you register a product, it gives you a link, and you cut and paste that link on your website. I think it charges you 1 to 2 percentage points more than oneshoppingcart.com. So you're paying a little more, but you don't have to have a merchant account. You just need a bank account. So remember when I said you had to spend $200 to $400 on a merchant account? You can bypass this. This is quick. You can have this up in less than 24 hours, and you can be able to take orders. So now you're up to, what is it, $6, and you paid $49 one time. There is no monthly recurring fee. Okay? So now we're back to $6 a month and a one-time charge of $49. Yeah. All right? But again, all this stuff, I haven't used it because it's very limited in what it can do. And you still have to buy. If you were to break apart that and realize how much each of these would cost you in terms of a software package. For example, emails, send newsletters. A lot of us use, what is it, constant contact, vertical response. And what do you pay a month?
I pay $55 a month.
Just for that one program. Just for that one program. Correct me if I'm wrong, but on constant contact, do you have access to the emails or just the number of emails that you have?
What do you mean when you say access to the email?
Can I see the actual emails? Because you can see them?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. But anyway, just that program is already, I mean, if this is $79, then it's already included in there. You know what I mean? When you add up all these, it's a hell of a deal. You're not going to find a better deal on the internet. Yes?
Yeah, just so people know that you can also, your first month on there is free, so you can play around with it. And
Yep.
they have options below $69 that
Right.
like to learn how to use it.
Right. If you want some of these key features, it's got to be around the $79 range. Absolutely. Great. So, all right. So now, we got product, we got service, we established a presence. Now we know how to set up our account to sell stuff, right? Should we talk promotion? All right. Let's talk promotion. All right. This is traffic. Okay? Now, this is my traffic, I believe, from the Logic of Success and this month, okay? So you can see I copied it over on the 23rd, okay? Now, you don't have to really see this data, but the number of visits here, okay, the number of pages that have been viewed here, the number of hits, and the bandwidth. Again, think of bandwidth as minutes. Every time somebody downloads, that's the other problem. When somebody downloads your video, they're chewing up bandwidth, which is why to make sure you have small files, okay? Now, look at the first day. Number of visits, 151. Pages, 755. But look at the number of hits. 3,128. How do you reconcile? How do you reconcile that you have 151 visits, but 3,128 hits? This is what the search engine does, and this is why you don't want to track hits. Let's say you have a page, and I'm just using this as an example. You have 100 pictures on that page of your latest vacation. When I visit your site, one visit, when I visit your site one time, it will log 101 hits. My actual visit, and it will count each object on that page as a hit. So when somebody says, well, I get 50,000 hits, now you know, ain't the real story, is it? Because there's a difference between visits also and unique visitors. Okay? So here's a test for you. 3 people come to your house to eat on Monday. How many visits did you have? 3. Well, 3 visits. Each person counts as a visit. How many unique visitors did you have? 3. Okay. Now, Friday comes, and they bring 2 more friends. On that day, how many visits did you have? 5. How many unique visitors did you have? 2. Right? You see the difference? It's unique visitors you're looking for. Because I can go back and revisit my own site 100 times. And they'll say 100 visits. You're like, damn, I got traffic. No, you don't. You got one guy who's psychotic. You know, that's all you got. You got one guy who's, hey, I like to click on the site. You know, and because a lot of us don't know that, we're like, wow, you got a lot of visits. And we're like, oh, happy. See, down here is 2,817 visits. Right here, you can't read it, but it says, as of the 23rd, I think this was in the afternoon, I get 123 unique visitors to my site every day. 123 unique visitors. It was about 185 around Christmas time. But again, it fluctuates. It's very seasonal, and you can actually track it. Now, how many would love to have 123 unique visitors a day? Not easy to get, right? That's what we're shooting for. Okay, now, look at the total. And again, if you look at here, you're going to see 30,000 visits, right? Or hits. And that's what people always talk about. See, I can blow smoke up your backside. I says, man, I get 30,000 hits a month. And you'd be like, damn, right? But I'm lying to you. You know it now, right? So they always say, again, 30,000. Let me go back here. HIT stands for, write this down, how idiots track success. Got it? So next time somebody says, oh, I get this many hits, just say, well, that's how idiots track success. And just remind them, what you're looking for is unique visitors. By the way, if somebody tells you, a web designer or anybody tells you, I get a lot of visitors, don't go for the visitor line. You're looking for what? Unique visitors. There you go. You're with me. All right. Traffic generation strategies. There's 4 strategies I'm going to go after, okay? 4 strategies we're going to talk about, okay? Search engine, pay-per-clicks, link back, joint ventures, affiliate programs. All right. Read this. 75% of the buying decisions are made on the headline alone. When you went to our website, get speaking gigs. If that didn't catch you, nothing was going to catch your attention, right? They're that important. On average, 5 times as many people read the headline as will read the body. Copyright is important, but you got to grab them. Something's got to grab them. Something's got to focus them in on what it is they're looking for. When we search for something, aren't we searching for something specific? Unless we're just going into the hyperlink world, right? You go from one website to the other, and you don't know. But typically, when you're looking for something specific, you're looking for that right headline, that right look of a website says, yeah, here's where I should buy my product. Pay attention to your headlines. All right. Anatomy of a good site. Browser page, headline page, pictures, meta tags. Again, text links, hyperlink, inbound, outbound links, keywords, and I'll go into that. Let me see what the next one is. This site right here, speak at colleges. What do you think my keywords are? College, speaker, right? Well, let's see how many times it appears. Let me go back, and I think it's on this one. No, I didn't put it on this one. If you were to count through, you would see that it appears, up there, there, there. Just count how many times you see college speaking. This is called keyword density. Okay? Now, how often it appears is called keyword density. Now, don't make the mistake of just putting college speaker. I'm a college speaker because college speakers are great college speakers, and you need to be a college speaker. It's got to make sense. This is why copywriting is important. It's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. What I want to do now before I go here is I'm going to look at my site. I'm going to show you my site. Then we're going to look at some of your sites now, okay? And I'm going to show you the anatomy of a great site, okay? Because I can tell you about it, but this is kind of boring. Let me show you. If you'll bear with me just a second, let me bring up the site. And then what I'll do is I'll bring up. There you go. Okay. So, the first thing to look at is, all right, here's one of my Hispanic. Let's see what Hispanic speaker does. And then when you look at Hispanic speakers, what you'll see is, again, that's me. Okay? I think, for now, that's me. Okay? The majority of people will not go past 2 pages when it comes to a search. The majority of people will not go past 2 pages. These are pay-per-clicks that I'm going to talk about later. Those are pay-per-clicks over there. Again, I use those 2 keywords, but I needed a 3rd word just for the heck of it. So I said, what about Hispanic motivational speaker? And then, again, Hispanic success. This is an article written in Selling Power magazine about me. So that's me. Here's another guy, Ruben. I know him well. And that's him down there also, the luge man. He's the guy that called me up and says, Victor, how'd you get ranked above me? Because he has all the top links, and I wouldn't tell him, but I'm going to tell you today. But don't tell Ruben, okay? So now let me go to, yeah, fine, Ruben, I got the secret sauce. Here it is. All right, let's go. I'm going to go to the logic of success. And so you can see the site. And by the way, from a web design standpoint, you can argue that this isn't the best looking site in the world. And I would say, you're absolutely right. But look what happens. I know that this site generates a lot of traffic. The anatomy of a site. Ready? Let me see if the laser works. There it does. You see this thing right at the above here? That's your header. Do you have a header on your website? Bring up your website and see if you have a header. And that header should be your keywords. Leadership, sales, motivational speaker, period. Okay? Does your website have the keywords? If it doesn't have the right headlines, boom, you're just missing out some search engine ranking points right away. Okay? Second thing to notice. See right here? This is text. It's not a picture. What's the words? Motivational speaker, right? Or a keynote with real-world experience, right? This is a graphic. Can the search engine see a graphic? No. What are they looking for? The tags that go behind it, right? Are you guys familiar with the tags? Yeah. So if you want to find out if this one has tags, let me see. And I think this is the one that should have the tags. See, I popped in those tags right there with all the keywords. Because the search engine can't see the picture. It'll only read the tags. So when you go to your website designer, the way to find out if you have tags is to mouse over your picture. If no text comes up, you're being cheated. Now, with Firefox, if some of you use the browser Firefox, you will not see the text, okay? Only through the Internet Explorer will you be able to see it. Just a side note. But again, go back to your site, mouse over, and your keywords should be in there. Again, it's a program. It can only see the code. It can only see the code, okay? Now, again, you see these links right here? Motivational keynote, leadership keynote, sales motivation, right? Keywords. Now, those are not pictures. That's text. What you can't see is that they're hyperlinked. Okay? See that? They're hyperlinked. Because if you hyperlink a text, it immediately alerts the search engine, these are some keywords. And that's what they're looking for. Now, search engines read from left to right. I know what you're saying. How the hell you know that? Right? Because if you look at the code, it's the way it's written. Okay? It's the way it's written. And so what I do here, I got a speaker's bio. Okay? A speaker press kit, speaker bureau for them, meeting planners, testimonials, my hood gallery, if you ever want to see my hood pictures where I was raised. But you can see stuff like that. But it's motivational speaker, that's text. Business motivational speakers featured in da-da-da. Okay? And then here's the information. Do you get the idea? It's got to have text, but these are not buttons. These are not buttons. If you're going to use buttons, make sure the buttons have the meta tags, the keywords in them, or else you lose. But most search engines, what they like is to see this link go into your web page, right? So this is called an inbound link. It goes into your website. If you decide to be a friend of somebody and put their link here, the search engine comes in here, sees an outbound link, right? What does that tell the search engine? Yeah, not only leave, but if you're going to redirect me, I might as well just go to the other site, okay? You want links to you. You don't want to give links out. You got to be greedy with your link outs, okay? So you want links coming to you. And I'm going to show you how you generate inbound links without begging, okay? Any questions on this? A lot of text. Avish.
Do you use like Web Position Gold or something, or do you know if that's still relevant?
Web Position Gold is a search engine optimization software, and I believe it's still around. There's several different software packages out there. I used their trial, and I kind of understood what they were doing, so I didn't use it anymore. But Web Position Gold, if you go on MrGoodWeb.com, I think it should be in one of the things I recommend as far as software, at least one of them is. And you can use that software, and basically it'll go through your page and actually just check it out for you. But again, if you go to that mrgoodweb.com site, there's a couple of links in there that will actually analyze your site for free. And it'll look in there, it'll count your how many keyword density. It'll give you a ratio. Okay, for every 100 words, he has the word college speaker twice. And it could do it by page. It'll go to the second page. It says, by the way, you don't have the keyword ratio right here. And I think a good keyword ratio to shoot for is for every 100 words or so, you know, have it in 5 times at least, your keywords. Now, keyword relevancy is interesting because it doesn't have to be college speaker, da-da-da-da-da, college speaker. It could be college and speaker down here, something else. In the college market, da-da-da-da-da, great speakers. You see how the words are not together? The more they're together, the more relevancy it's given. The more they're separated, they're counted as keyword density. It gets confusing, but you get the idea, okay? But you got to watch your keywords, which is why I ask you to define your market right up front. Know what your keywords are, pick your 2 to 3, and work the words. Now, again, don't repeat them, okay? I mean, your copywriting has to make sense, or somebody's going to think you're retarded. You know, you only have 3 words, you know? So make sure you expand that, make it a story, okay? Now, let me see what else I can show you. Who has a website they want to throw up there? What's your website?
FYI, COMMINC.
FYI.
COMMINC.
INC.com. All right. So now, knowing what I've mentioned already, you know what I'm looking for, right? All right. Is she utilizing her top headers? No, missing out on a great opportunity. So if somebody's looking for, what were your 2 or 3 keywords that you chose on the paper?
Music, jazz, business, website design.
Okay, you just lost me. You just want 2 or 3 keywords that say who you are. You can only sell one thing.
Okay.
You got to sell you. If it's your name, yep, absolutely. So if it's your, let's say it's jazz singer. Can we just say that for now? Then jazz singer something and your name, okay? But by the way, when you list out your words, the further it is to the left, gives it more prominence, okay? So in other words, if my keyword is jazz singer, I don't want to put the best and the greatest jazz singer. I want to put jazz singer, the best and the greatest you could ever hear. You know what I mean? That's because it actually calculates it. By the way, don't believe me, test it on the searches. And you'll notice that a lot of pages that rank high have the words right at the beginning, okay? You come in here, we have a picture. We check it. Does it have its tags, right? So I come in here, nada. It doesn't know what that is. By the way, if the search engine comes and it only has, let's say, again, a minimum amount of buffer space, it's going to come in, you're going to choke it on this picture, and you're going to choke it with all these pictures, and it's not going to get ranked high, okay? It'll get ranked, it'll get indexed, but you may not get a high ranking, okay? Now, when you come here, is this an external link? So if you go, and I know what CD Baby is, you got me going to CD Baby. Look at the bottom, you got me going to CD Baby. And you can see it down here that your link is going to cdbaby.com. You just told it that the most important thing from left to right is CD Baby. CD Baby thanks you for their business and their traffic, okay? You get none, okay? It's all about content, okay? You got to drive them into your site. You want inbound links, not outbound links. Get it?
So
Good.
I took the Anti-Site Gigs blogs link,
Right.
moved them over to the left top.
Right here.
Left.
Sure.
So I'll take the financial destination, put it somewhere else.
Don't you want a header or something? You don't have to get rid of this. Just put the tags in, okay? Put it right here. But, for example, gigs. Why don't you add the keywords to that? Jazz gigs, right? Blog, the jazz blog. You see what I mean? Use that. Now, what's interesting is when you name your subpage, it's what you name your subpage that is also key. For example, I click gigs, right? Now, gigs, I already see that it's going to take me to a page called gigs.htm. Okay? That means that the search engine is going to give you high marks on the word gigs. Because your home page has it here, and it's linked to a page that's subtitled, if you read the top, right here, gigs, right? And you got gigs up here. Beautiful. Beautiful. But look at all this stuff. It's all pictures that it probably can't read. Okay?
I need like wordage on the left.
You,
Pictures
you need more content. Work with your words. Again, it's not about getting rid of your pictures. It's about organizing them. They did an interesting study when they talk about what people look at, and they put this thing, these visors, on their specimens, right? And they had them search the web. It's a fascinating report. And it did this, it's almost like a thermal chart. And it told you where people look at the most when they look at a page. And it's right here. This is the real estate spot you always want. You know? That's the one you want. Right there was a sweet spot. And you see it's a big red blob they put on there. And it was fascinating. And the company, I don't know if they give the report away for free. They were doing it at the beginning. It's called Inquiro. Like inquire with an O. Inquiro. And they had that study. I have a copy of it. I'll try to find it, but all you need to know is that this was the sweet spot right here. So if you're going to put a promotion, you put it right there. My newer sites are putting more stuff here because that's where I know people are looking at, okay? Okay? Is this helping? Help me. All right. Okay. So, yes, Sal. You got a site you want me to look at, Sal?
Yes, Sal, S-A-L.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a page that you should put the links to outbound links?
Here, I would go in, if you're going to do an outbound link, I usually go one page deep and maybe two at best. Okay? For example, for those of you logged on, go to HispanicReport.com. I was joking about this one earlier. I copied the Drudge Report. I call it the Hispanic Report. We do what we can. Remember, it's all under $19.99. And every time I register a website, it's $9. But if I'm charging, when I was in the college market, $2,500, I mean, I get my money back. It's all about casting a wide net, and it's all about advertising. Isn't it about advertising? How many billboards do you see when you go down the highway? That's all. Did you go to HispanicReport.com? That web page, HispanicReport.com, will never rank high because every link in there is almost outbound because it's a directory. But what I found is that a lot of people bookmark it. That's what I found is good about it. But again, if you click on my picture in the center, it just takes you back to my sites. But again, you set it up once, you never have to touch it again. Okay? All right. Yes, sir.
Very top, where the internet.
Right.
That text there, I'm missing that. I'm missing a lot of stuff based on what I'm seeing today. That's why I'm probably not getting a lot of hits. How do you get that Hispanic report on this particular site on now? The very top.
Wait, here, let me type in Hispanic Report.
You mean in the actual website?
Yeah, get that.
When you're
Which part? That? By the way, if you use front page, it'll tell you to put it in the code. Okay? That's when you go to the web design, hey, this is what I want you to put in the headline up here. But if you use the website complete software, there's actually a little tab that says, you click on a tab and you just enter the keywords. And it's really that simple. It just has a tab, you enter your keywords, and it will put it up there automatically. Okay? So that helps. So again, most of these sites are outbound links, but I don't know. I thought it was clever. And then, again, this is the Mr. Good website here. Because a lot of people told me they bookmarked Hispanic Report. And then Mr. Good Web is where I have all kinds of free stuff. Okay? And I do book reviews and stuff like that. And again, even my son comes up to me, Dad, found a nice website. You might want to put it on Mr. Good Web. I look at it and I put it up here. You asked me earlier about the contact manager software. Here it is. It's called Sales Navigator CRM software, and it's free. Okay? So you can go to that website, download it, and you're good to go. Okay? It's free. All you got to do is give them your email. So if you don't want to invest in ACT or something like that, just download it for free. I think, Tim, you downloaded it already, right, Tim? Okay. So check it out. There's a lot of stuff on here. For example, here's asset software I use. There's stuff that you can do. You want covers made for your book, your ebooks. There's a website called Killer Covers, and they got samples up there. You submit what you want. They'll develop a cover for your book, and bam, you're good to go. There's a lot of stuff you don't have to spend. When you go to the site, by the way, one of the things I love doing is these internet marketing blogs, because you go in there and you find out what all the internet marketers are talking about, what's hot, what's not. Again, I monitor this maybe once a month, but everything from where to get leads, Go Leads, Some of the items are here, speaking bureaus. And if you didn't get, I'm promoting Fred Gleek too much, but he gives you 5 free books. Some of the best books I've seen that I think he's crazier than I am for giving them away. At least I charge 99 bucks. He just wants your email, okay? And you have to read these books. It's on, putting together a seminar, promoting yourself as a speaker. And again, as I mentioned earlier, these are not cheesy books. I think one of them's like 200 pages, and it's great information, great content. Marketing Dump is all audio. Great for understanding how internet marketers think and some of the strategies that they're using. Again, if it's too much, I suggest at least get the books, okay? All right, Sal, what's your website? Let's do this. Sal?
Sal. S-A-O.
S-A-O.
No. S-A-O.
S-A-O. The hitman.com. Yeah. I'm Mr. Mafia. Adrian. Okay, so we can barely see it, but he's got cards. You're throwing cards. All right, you got the Goomba look. All right. All right. So you got no tags up here, okay? You can't see the title, but there's no tags up there on the Hitman, Sal. You got pictures. And again, Sal, this is mostly pictures on your front page. It may get curious enough to want to look deeper in your page. Have you seen if this is indexed yet? Have you checked it? It's indexed? There you go. So at least it's indexed, okay? You got some text. This will help you always right here. Text going into the site. But again, you type it into the search engine. You type in your website, www.com, and if it comes up, it's in there. If it's not, it just says not found. Okay? So, Sal, again, work on the keywords because nobody's going to search for Hitman unless there's a specific reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you want that type of traffic, Sal. I mean, unless there's something I don't know. And since I don't know, I like you personally. I want to make that clear, just in case. Hitman doubling as a motivational speaker. Bam! All right. So, okay. Let me see if I'm on the hit list. No. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All these buttons were down bottom,
Right.
not on the left-hand side.
Right.
As you were saying. Is that okay?
Well, remember, he only has like one page. There is no left side to him. Do you know what I mean? When you look at people who use borders, you got borders on top. You know how when you click through, you always see the same header? That means they're in the borders up there. You got borders here, so it's always in the border. And again, it'll read from left to right, but this is a pretty plain site. This will show up probably first, this second, third, if the coding's right. I'm not sure about this one. But the point being here, you don't have the contents, you don't have the keyword, and you're never going to get the right traffic, again, unless, there's something else you're doing on the back end that we don't know about and don't want to know. But when you...
So would his big keyword be poker and cheater?
Well, that's a marketing thing. It would be up to him to develop his key. What'd you write down for your keywords? Poker, cheats, gambling. So you're going to take that to the college market? Memory? Okay. Using cards as a memory tool. We'll work that angle then. Okay. And then do that. Leave out the poker. Leave out the poker. Okay. So, anybody else? By the way, I do like that. That's pretty cool. FindYourIdealCareer.com. FindYourIdealCareer.com. All right. Oh, here it is. Too many O's. All right. Nice website. $100. He's proud of it too. $100. $100. So anyway, you got the college. This is good. See, you got the college keynote here. Just add some more keywords. College, free stuff for college students. You get the idea. And here you have your collect email. What are you using for the shopping cart? OneShoppingCart.com. Okay. All right. So you get the idea. By the way, I'm not going to keep searching websites. I mean, are there any questions of what to look for and understand? Yes.
Now, I noticed on yours, the Speak at Colleges one, you had down at the bottom, you had almost everything listed all over again. Is that for a specific purpose?
For which site?
Speak at Colleges.
Speak at colleges.com. Okay, see my header on top, right? By the way, these are links. Notice that. They're just not words. They're links that take you into the content page. Okay? But what I didn't do is keep the underline under them because then people click it. And I don't really want them to click it. So all the way at the bottom is the question. I repeat. What do I repeat?
Maybe set the logic of success.
Okay. Oh, I know what you're going to ask me. Good observation.
Is it Victor Gonzalez or
I think it's Victor Gonzalez, isn't it?
What's that?
the logic of success?
That one?
No, I think it's your Victor
Yeah,
Gonzalez
it's the
side.
logic. Now, when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, very, very bottom of the page.
Yeah. You see all those articles, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what's the website looking for? What are the search engines looking for? Content. Now, down here, yeah, look at you. Yeah, Victor, what the hell? Because, what's up with Dad? You know, I realize that this is all right. Because what it is that I got links here, links in my other border. It just, you know, gives me points, man. That's all it does. Because, again, these are links going into the page. Now, I put them at the bottom for convenience. I don't want you to scroll all the way back to the top. You feel me? So I put them on the bottom just so you can have them available. It helps with the ranking. Yep.
So if you do have a lot of articles that you've written,
right?
Would you recommend listing them all like in a sidebar on your index page as opposed to just putting them listed on articles?
The problem with this, if I can be self-critical, is that it isn't pretty. Okay? It isn't cute. It isn't dynamic. And I would say, yes, you're absolutely right. The Digital Diva will probably yell at me for this one, right? She goes, bad form. And I would say, yeah, you're right. But what I do know is that I want to attract traffic, and the search engines are looking for articles. I get so many people who come to the site just because they found an article. So, pretty traffic. Pretty traffic, traffic for now. And that's what I go at. So, for example, if you look at the Sales Asylum, for example, the new one, this is the one that's under construction with the new logo, the 5th generation logo. And again, it has the keywords on top, has me with my silly look, right? And what I did for this one to keep it cleaner is that I put the articles, I've listed a few, right? And then I put them on a separate page like that, okay? Then there's a long list. I'm telling you, people are not going to find that page. You know, I don't think so. They may. But again, the logic of success will drive the traffic. This is one of those sites where I'm going to use the pay-per-click strategy and not try to rank it. One of the questions they asked me earlier was, if you have multiple websites with the one hosting company, how does that impact you? And I stated earlier the following. When you're assigned a hosting, you know, where you park your website, you're given an IP address. Think of your home address, right? In that address, two things can happen. The worst thing that could happen is that you have to share that IP address with somebody else. And if that person does something wrong, the whole IP address gets whacked, and your site suffers. Okay, so first thing you want to do is not share IP addresses. When you do a reseller program, you get one IP address for all your websites. The search engines are smart enough. They figured the game out. That if you put all your websites, which are on the same IP address, right, and the content looks somewhat similar, they start moving some up and some down. Okay? So what people do is that they put their sites on different class servers. Okay? You can go, there's certain companies out there right now. One is called webhost4SEO.com. And what it allows you is to actually assign different IP addresses to your different sites under one account, allowing you to rank more pages higher. I don't want to go through that trouble. Okay? I'm happy with where I'm at right now. The logic of success is my big portal, the one that drives most of the site. Again, this is like too much information at this point, and you don't want to go in there yet. You don't want to dive. A year from now, maybe dive into that. Different strategies for trying to drive more traffic. Any questions on this one? And again, articles on selling. Every time I name my pages, my subpages, I'm very careful how I name my subpages, okay? Pay attention to how you name your subpages. Don't just say, yeah, put one here, put one there, and everyone has to have its own headline, and make sure the keywords are in those headlines, okay? So jazz singer, something. Jazz singer, something. Something that refers back to jazz. It doesn't have to be in that order. Okay? Get it? Got it. Good. One more question? Go.
Quick question about your articles. Are those articles that you submit to e-zines or to other people who publish them, or you just keep them to yourself that you publish on your own website?
You know, I started writing the articles, like, you know, something hits you, you get up and you go, I think I'll write an article, right? I initially started using, I used to submit to like ezinearticles.com. If you go to Mr. Goodweb, you'll see the sites there. And then I got tedious. And then after like 25, they wanted you to pay or something, or 5, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying. What I started finding out is that my articles are being picked up by other websites that are looking for content. And so they're picking up my sites. And at the bottom of all my articles, I'm like saying, you may use this, just use my name. And what they do is they put their links on them, and then you come back to that link. You know, the link comes back to your site, which is what you want, right? So people start posting different articles on their website. I'm fine with it. I actually had a lady tell me, well, I don't want your article, my article on your site. Why don't you put a link to my site? I'm like, you're on drugs, you know? She didn't understand the game. That it's all about, I'll put your article, I give more content, but it also drives traffic to your site if they're interested. Okay? So you can use eZine. I think there's a, is it article, you used Article Submitter, right?
I've used both eZine Announcer and Article Submitter Pro.
Okay, these are software programs where you put it in and then bam, they blast out. Warning, I think it was articlemarketer.com. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I used my email address, info@victorgonzalez.com. They then turned around and, I don't know, they shared that email with all kinds of user groups. And I remember the next day I looked at my email, there were like 300 articles from other people that I really didn't want to read. And so what I had to do, what was painful, I had to go in there and find the bulk of them and put blocks on them. It was painful. So be careful. I mean, sometimes, you know, the quick hit isn't the best way to get it because everybody's thinking like you. Blast the articles out there. So I'm going to take a break here. Now, okay, we talked about this. Content. Make sure you put content down there. Write articles about what you're talking about, okay? As I build the new sales asylum, all I'm bringing over are the sales and motivation articles. Not the leadership, just the sales and motivation, because that's what it's all about, okay? Now, register this one. This is a tip. Did you know that the search engines now look for PDF files? Oh, let me hook you up. Let me hook you up. Because what happens is, if in the properties, the next time you close your PDF file, right-click and you'll see properties. You'll see a summary tab. And you load it with your keywords. And when you post it on your website, the search engine will find it. How do I know? Try this. You ever want to find a PDF file? Just put like salestraining.pdf. It brings up every PDF file out there. You ever want to look at somebody else's presentation, like a PowerPoint, because you need some ideas? Not that you're going to plagiarize. But just type in salesmarketing.ppt. Every PowerPoint presentation will come up that's on the web. Okay? I'm not saying you copy. I'm just saying you look at it and you go, I like this idea. Okay? Yes?
Just for point of clarification, you said the keywords, you create the PDF or when you put the
After.
PDF,
Let me see if I can.
front page, loading it to the site.
Let me, it's easier to show you. So let me see if I have a PDF file. Like this one right here, it's Atlanta something. I don't know what that is. It's just, you see where it says properties right there on the bottom? I right-click, says properties, right? And right here says summary. Look at that. Title, subject, author, category, keywords, and a description. Oh, yeah, money, because they'll find these. What you do is you upload your program, your one page, your brochures, you upload them, and you fill them with your keywords. And you're like, damn. Look at somebody, you're like, damn, I know. What's that? So what you do is you just, yeah, there you go. Bing. Okay. So right here, you go, you right-click it, and you go down to summary. It's Adobe, yeah. And then you just go to summary page, the tab right there. All right, you go to, and you say summary, and there it is. Right. Wait till you see some of the other stuff I got. Okay. So.
Do the search engines add or do they change the weight because it's a PDF or document? Do they make it more?
It is my opinion, and it's only my opinion, that the search engines upgrade you. And sometimes what you'll find out is that your PDF file ranks higher than your actual web page, right? Yeah, because what you'll see is you click it and say, well, damn, it's a PDF file. They find the PDF file sometimes faster than you do your website. Yeah. These are all little brownie points that you try and add up. You get it? Good. All right. So let me see where I was at. I know what you're thinking. I got to go back home and do some homework. So, all right. So PDF files, name your documents. When you name your document, like your PDF file, okay, if you're a motivational speaker, just say speaker-leadership-program, okay? Because that counts also. The title of your article counts. And when you put it in a PDF file, the search engine goes into your website, and it's looking at everything in your website, not just your pages. It's looking at your videos. When you save your video files, before you upload them, don't just put movie.5.wave. Oh, put motivational speaker video. Because you've seen that Yahoo and Google, now you can hit image or video and search on that now, right? Isn't that another way to be found? Absolutely. Okay, so it's a lot of little things we can do here. Register. Oh, this is good. If you read the Google patent, people who register the domain for more than 1 year, he says, well, because they're registering it for a couple of years. Because if you register for 1 year, you might not have it next year. But if you register for like 10 years, they go, okay, it's a real site. They're not going to change it. Register your domain for more than 1 year. Brownie point, okay? That's all we're looking for. Little brownie points that begin to add up, okay? Are we good with that? Good. All right. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, now let's look at pay-per-clicks, okay? To understand pay-per-clicks. There's two types of pay-per-clicks that I use. There's a lot of them, but the two major ones are obviously Google AdSense, okay, and Yahoo, Alta Vista, MSN, which fall under the title of Overture, okay? That's the program, okay? And I'm going to show you how that is. For those of you who are not familiar with these pay-per-clicks, if I typed in Hispanic motivational speaker when I did the other day, these are paid. This is what is known as organic ranking. What I am talking to you today about is about organic ranking, how to rank without paying anything, okay? Okay? And then over there on the side, again, studies have shown that people have grown so accustomed that they don't even look at this anymore, okay? They just look here. You look at, this is your sweet spot right here that you're looking at, right? Every time you search. So this is good, bad, I don't know. I think this is great when you don't have a ranking. Okay, when your site isn't ranked, like the Sales Asylum, I will use the pay-per-clicks for the Sales Asylum, which is why I'm not concerned about not having as many articles on the front page. Okay? Now, these are my three sites. Again, all these are organic. Now, I think I do it on here before I go to Overture. Yeah, let me do it here. This is Overture. Okay, there's Google AdSense, then there's Overture. If you go to overture.com, you sign up. Now, here, this is where the cool part comes in. Let's say I wanted to search the phrase internet marketing. Internet marketing came up 67,000 times, right? What Overture is telling me that last month, 67,000 people searched on that term. Now, if you wanted the #1 position, this is the #1 position right here, it would cost you only $3.10 for a click. That means, be careful, every time somebody clicked, that's $3.10 you just lost. Okay?
Now, is that per hit or per unique?
Per click. Per click, and I don't know if somebody comes back and clicks it again. I believe if you come back and click it again, it won't register it. Okay? I'm not sure. Okay? I'll have to double check that. It's a good question. So if somebody clicks on it, $3.10 to you. Now, if you were to buy this term and be #1, it gives you an estimated clicks. You'll probably get 3,352. It's running an estimate. Out of 65,000 people, maybe 3,352 will actually click on it. okay, if you're in the number 1 position. If that many people click on it, your estimated pay-per-click might be this, and this is what you pay every month, $6,000. A lot of money, right? So that is a high, if you look at a motivational speaker or sales trainer, you're paying a lot of money to get number 1. So you got to be really sure that you're going to book. Now, if you're making, like Zig Ziglar, $30,000 a speech, drop $6,000 a month for the top slot, not a problem. I'm bound to get 1 hit or 1 gig out of that. Okay, you see, I got to balance it. So what you begin to find are terms that are not as popular. Like it could be internet marketing, training, Atlanta. Okay, it could be something else, but it doesn't have to be the top one. Okay, now I think you want to see this, how this works. You want to look behind it because we have an hour. I'm going to leave it for the end. The overture part I'm going to leave for the end, okay? And I'm going to come back. Unless you really want to see this. You really want to see it? Okay. I really want to see it. How does it work, Victor? Now I got to remember my passwords. Thank you. All right. Let me see. So I go to overture.com, which I spelled wrong again. I go to overture.com, and I get this front page. I log in to manage my account. Okay, I log in to manage my account. I log in right here. I'm in. All right, I'm in. It tells me here I have 382 online listings. Offline listings means things I don't want clicks through. What do I use the pay-per-clicks for? I use the pay-per-clicks when I have a new site or a site that I know won't rank because it has too many outbound links, but I still want people to find it, because it will eventually drive traffic to me. That is the only time I want to use this for me. Why? Because most of my pages rank high organically. So why would I rank high and then do a pay-per-click? Makes no sense, right? So this is what you would use. You go in here, and it will tell you how much you're paying each month. I set a budget of $100 for that, okay? When it exceeds $100, it replenishes it with another $100. On average, I use about $70 to $80 a month on pay-per-clicks, okay? So start adding what I'm spending a month here. The $79 for the shopping cart, right? The $20, call it 80 plus 20, it's $100 for the hosting, right? And now another $100, it's about $200 I spent a month on my internet marketing stuff. Is that a lot of money? Not if you start moving your fee up, okay? And so what you can do is go in here and actually search on keywords. For example, in fact, let me do something. Go to MrGoodWeb.com. I want to show you something. Because how do you know that your keyword is any good? How do you know if your keywords are any good? If anybody searches on them. So what I want you to do, under website development, the middle, scroll down, and you don't need a computer. I'll show what it looks like. You should see something called, right here, search engine optimization. It says, you see this Overture, Yahoo, Alta Vista. It's about right here. Click on that. And it's a backdoor tool where you can actually check out how many people actually signed up or, entered that keyword without having to be a member of Overture. Okay? So if you just want to check it out. So what you do is, what were your keywords? You don't have a website? What were your keywords? Website? What's that?
Wedding music.
What's that?
Saxophone, wedding music, love songs.
Okay, give me 2, 3 keywords.
All right, wedding music.
Okay, let's just go with wedding music. You hit the return, and let's see what comes back. So, wedding music came back last month, 39,000 searches for that term. Okay? Then what you can do, Joe, if it's contemporary wedding music, you can also register that term and wedding ceremony music, rather. Wedding ceremony, wedding reception music. You see these 4 or 5 right here? These are the top search for phrases for his business. What keywords do you think he should start including on his website? All these, right? You get the idea? So give me another website, one more.
Radical love.
What's that?
Radical love.
Radical love.
Radical love. Damn, okay. What were your keywords? Radical love?
Yeah, marriage.
What's that?
Marriage.
Marriage? What else? Just
Relationships.
okay, so we'll try marriage. Marriage, what I would think would be a tough word to rank high. Did I spell that right? 1 R? 2 R's. Okay. Last month, 142,000. By the way, this is, yeah, that's high. So, but look at this. Marriage, marriage counseling, gay marriage, and marriage counselor, marriage license. So these are search terms that you can begin to use if they make sense in your business. Okay? Some people think what they use is, are certain words that are not going to really resonate. So give me some other keywords. Something that...
College career.
College career. College career. College career had 9,600 last month. So what would be a variation of college career? Career development. And this just gives you ideas for what keywords. Career development had 100 or 16,000, a little more, about 4,000 or 5,000 more. This is Overture, so this is looking at Yahoo, Alta Vista, and MSN, okay? These are just rough estimates. A lot of people have criticized these numbers for not being totally accurate, but they're giving an indication at least of what's high, what's not. Yes?
So I typed in extraordinary leader and I got 48 as the count.
Right.
In this seminar, ordinary to extraordinary leader.
Right.
What do I do with that now? Okay, there are 48.
I'd nix the phrase. 48 people, I mean, that's not traffic. Yeah. Now try... There you go. So that's exactly what, that's why I use the tool. That's exactly what it should tell you. In other words, absolutely. Leadership, leader should be a key word. Not a lot of people are going to put extraordinary and those two words combined. So when you want to look at the keyword combination as far as density, you're not going to get a lot of brownie points because only 48 people searched on the term. But if you put in, if I can do real quick, leadership, and then I'll grab your question back there. Okay, let me do events first because Gloria was nice enough to ask first. Here's events. So here's event, and then you got all events is that right? 1.7?
No, she said put in event services.
Events, services. Okay? So we got event services. You're looking at event marketing services, only 476. By the way, even if you take the S off of these, this machine is smart enough to know. Okay? So you got convention, event, planning, service that got 14,000 keywords. Okay, you see? But again, you look down here, event management service is getting 206. This is not a lot. And here's what event service down here we had. Okay?
What about event planner?
Event planner should be high. Okay? Event planner would be at 21,000, so a little higher. But then, you know, event wedding planner, corporate event planner. I mean, these are the keywords. You know when I talk about looking on the right side, on the left-hand side of your web? Well, you can have a bullet point, a hyperlink that says, click here for event planning, corporate event planning, wedding event planning. You see what I mean? And then you get it. Okay? All right, you would ask me for one more, for leadership. Okay, leadership. All right, last one, we're out of here. Again, you can do this at home. And in leadership, here you'll see the different variations. And you got, again, 49,000, but leadership training at 25,000. It's starting to look reasonable, those numbers, as opposed to 48. And again, when you look at keywords, you got to take away your personal favorite. Like nobody's going to put in, well, let's look at radical love. Only because that's radical. I don't even want to ask.
If I go to the search, it'll come up first. Just don't put it in.
What's that?
It'll come up first on the search, but don't put it here.
See, no suggestions for radical love. In other words, people are not looking for that. So whatever it is, you know.
Let me make sure I understand.
Go ahead. I just can't. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What's that?
So if like spouse comes up like 18,000 times
Right.
a year, what you're saying is that headers and content that has that word will cause
Right.
the site to rise higher.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying?
Because that's what people are looking for. And so, but again, it's not about adjusting your site to the keywords. It's making sure that within this radical love, you can use those keywords. You got it. Okay?
So
All right.
have a site, radicallove.com.
.org.
All right. All right. Next. All right, we did the show and tell. Link backs. By the way, you got to use this. Writing tools, writing articles is obviously key. We talked about that, right? People begin to pick up the articles, You can look at Article Submitter, Article Marketer, some of these other programs if you like. Press releases are so powerful. That you got to use them. And these free services are just that, free. Okay, you have an option. And they'll even tell you, if you pay an extra 10 to 20 bucks, they'll put in the search engine optimization feature in there for you. But you don't have to pay for them. But this also drives traffic. So if I'm PR Web and I have a page with your article and it has a link back to you, when a page, a site of a higher link links back to you, it validates your site more. Here's the caveat, though. It has to have something to do with your subject to be relevant, or else the link is not relevant. So what I did, now don't tell Ruben what I did, but this is what I did. I went to HispanicBusiness.com, and they have a forum. Yeah, they have a forum. And what did I do? I registered my profile in that forum. And in that forum, they always ask you to put your website and your email address, right? Well, I went to Hispanic Business, and I registered www.hispanicsuccess.com with my profile. Hispanic, big site, Hispanic website, link back. Looked at the email, Hispanic as well, and that's what went, because Ruben gets more traffic than I do. How do I know? Because I go to Alexa. How many of you used Alexa before? Alexa, we'll go into Alexa, we won't get ahead of ourselves, but you can check who's getting more traffic than you, at least relatively speaking, okay? It's not inaccurate. So anyway, if you use a forum, and you write an article on that forum, and on the byline, they have your web page, because you can put your web page or your email, it links back to you. So a site that's relevant to your title links back to you. It gives you more relevancy in the search engines. Get it?
Got it.
Okay. Again, article, press releases, bylines. And again, you're looking to rank high with other sites. You want sites to link back to you. Now, here's what I did. I typed in, if you want to see how many people link to you, okay, you type in link, colon, your web domain name. Link, colon, your web domain name, and you'll find out all the sites that are linking back to you from that search engine, okay? And I did this, and what I wanted to point out was, and you can't see it, maybe on the paper you can, none of these are my sites. These are all sites linking back to me because they grabbed one of my articles and put it on their site. Get it? So again, this is all people coming back to me. Now, on this one, I just typed in again, Hispanic motivational speaker, and I wanted to highlight, we saw that before, right? What I didn't point out was, the first one is Hispanic Success, the website with the keyword. The second is eMediaWire, a free PR service. Look how high that press release is ranking. Now, you go here, NSHP, another Hispanic forum. That's linking back to me. That's why it pushed it up. So I got my website ranking high, I got a press release that's ranking high, and now I got a forum that's ranking high with my article. Yeah, nice. Get it? Good. All right. The last part, joint venture affiliate programs, okay? A joint venture, partnership to sell something, okay? This is when we get together, we discuss something, and maybe you have this huge mailing list. And I said, look, I really like to sell something. Will you mind blasting this out? And if you blast it out, I'll give you 50% of whatever money we make. Okay? That's a joint venture. Very strategic. An affiliate program is what you can do via like the shopping cart, where you can become part of this joint venture by signing up a code that's specifically assigned to you. It's like a hyperlink. You put it on your site and say, get this great free software here. And they click it, and they go to somebody's site, and they buy the software. You will get a notification that a sale has been made and money's deposited into your account. Okay? So what I did was, for GoDaddy, for example, bring up a website called, now don't laugh when you start seeing all my websites. Here's one that I said, this is interesting, quickstartcart.com. This is GoDaddy with my private label. Okay? This is my site. What I did is I registered for GoDaddy's affiliate program, right? And then I just used my private label up here called the Quick Start Cart. I just registered the website. So anytime anybody registers one of these domains through here, I get a percentage. So about every 2-3 weeks, every 2-3 months rather, I get about a $50, $100 check. Now you're saying that's not a lot, but it pays for all my domains, and I don't do anything. Because I just pay $8.95 for one time, and remember, it's on my hosting reseller program, so I'm not doing anything. Plus, I can also buy my own sites, I guess discount myself, do you know? So that's an affiliate program, okay? So, all right, so getting back to here, and we covered all 4. Look at this program here. The reason I think today is a beautiful day as far as sharing the information, and a lot of you were asking me about the $99, and a lot of you were suspicious about the $99. Raise your hands if you were suspicious, right? You go, I don't trust it, right? Because everybody was accusing of it's going to be fluff, there's going to be content, and then you're going to upsell us with this huge package so we don't know anything when we walk out of here. But see, our intent was never that. Our intent was always what's going to happen after this, what we call the back end, right? Because we're going to video this. And then what we do is then we're going to turn around and sell that as a bigger package to other folks, right? This is called a joint venture. So what the plan is that you grab this product now, once we get the DVDs made, once you get the manuals, once you get the ebooks, and for those who are not here, we'll not benefit as much as you, but what we'll do is we'll find people with a big list. It says, hey, do you mind selling this program for me? It costs X amount of dollars, and whatever we price it out, I'll give you half of it. And they blast it out. One email, they blast it out, they make the numbers, and what do? We just fulfill the order, right? And Rick will tell you about his friends who can do all the fulfillment stuff. But again, we don't do anything. A lot of this stuff works. Joint venture, I think, is one of the most potent forms of internet marketing, how to make money, okay? And you got to use it. But again, the basic rules, and I learned this a little while ago when I went to a seminar. I won't name the big name speaker, but I'm talking to the big name speaker, and I told Rick the story. And he looked at me and he said, I'd like to work with you. Do you have product? And I know what he was asking me. He was asking me for this type of program product. And I said no. I've never seen a guy get so turned off on a conversation so quickly. It's like he went, because in his mind he wanted a joint venture with me, but I didn't have anything to help him sell. What you need to start doing is put together your own programs. It's books, it's audios, it's DVD. I believe in the peacock effect. And that is that what you want to do to attract attention, what does peacock do, right? They come up, right? If you don't have any products, you don't look pro. You're not out there trying to sell something, and people don't go to your website and they don't see stuff because you're developing stuff and really doing things like this, they won't want to deal with you as much. Again, let me be specific. I'm talking consumer to consumer market, okay? I'm not talking about B2B markets, okay? Like, I'm a business, I'm selling to a corporation. That's a totally different game. I'm talking about business to consumer, where you're trying to sell to other folks, okay? But again, a lot of the stuff you have to begin to develop. When you look at the college market, we talked about earlier, as far as getting the speaking gigs in the college market, a lot of it is you're going to make your money on your back end with your products, your books, your audio, your CDs. But you're going to be surprised at how many people will want to work with you when they see that you've done a lot of stuff. And that was one of the hardest realities I had to deal with, that a lot of people won't work with you if they just see your website and it looks like, well, you're not really doing anything. Okay? So you have to become a product machine. And I'm a fan of this. A lot of people just hang on to that one book and keep rewriting the same book, right? And they never put it out there. I don't think you can write another good book until you get the first one out of the way. I'm a fan of that. You got to empty your cup if you want to be able to fill it up again. And what happens is you put the information out there, you put it on DVD, you put it on paper, you get it out there. Okay, let's develop a new program now. And that's exactly what we're going to do after this. You know, once we do this program, okay, let's see what else we can develop, take it to the next level. What else can we do now? And that's what I want you guys to start doing. How do I begin to develop product? How do I begin to sell myself? How do I begin to market myself so I begin to attract people to me and want to do business with me? Because I'm telling you, I've been where some of you are at. Nobody wants to talk to you. You can't give away your speech. And you just want to make a little bit, just enough to pay the bills right now, right? But again, I'm going to end on this one story. I always love this story. Two guys are sitting at a cafe. No squirrel story. Two guys are sitting at a cafe, right? And they're eating. They're eating some bread, butter, the whole bit, with some coffee. Crumbs fall on the ground, okay? All of a sudden, birds swoop down to eat the crumbs, right? they go back to talking, not pay too much attention. Again, some crumbs fall off, birds come swooping back down, eat the crumbs, fly away. So they decide, because they're a little compassionate, to get a big piece of bread, put it on the floor so they can really enjoy a feast, right? What do you think happens? No birds fly down, right? Puts the bread back on the table to continue the discussion. More crumbs fall on the ground. The birds come down again. Why? Why is it when the crumbs fall on the ground, the birds come down, but when you put a big piece of bread out there, they don't? Because we're so used to fighting for the damn crumbs all the time, right? That when somebody puts a big opportunity in front of you, you don't see it because you're not used to seeing it. You don't know if you can do it because you've never done that. And that is the problem sometimes we have. We're so myopic in our way of thinking. We're so closed in that we don't think we can do something bigger than ourselves. What did I say earlier? Don't wait for somebody to validate you, right? Because it's never coming. So you got to put it out there. You got to think bigger than what you are and begin rolling all this stuff together. On that note, I'm going to end it here. Do you guys have any questions? I'm taking questions right now. Yes.
What's the website? You were talking about the website where we can evaluate our competition.
Alexa. Let me go to Alexa real quick. The Alexa website is spelled Alex with an A. Okay? And what you can do, now again, on MrGoodWeb.com, my website, there's a real good article I found on Alexa. Now type in your website there. I'll put thelogicofsuccess.com, okay? But on MrGoodWeb.com, there's a good article on some of the flaws with Alexa, okay? But again, read the article, but nonetheless, this gives you a relative measure of where you stand. 2 years ago, I couldn't get my picture in here, okay? And this was like in the 5 million range. So, what does that 1 million mean? If there are a billion pages, starting from 0 down to a billion, I rank in the 1 million range up here, okay? There are speakers that I know that are in the 100,000 range. If you're less than 100,000, you got some serious traffic. So what you can use this is as a relative measure to somebody else. The numbers are not accurate because if you put the Alexa toolbar on your browser, you'll see that your rankings will go up because they count. It's a longer story. Read the article. But suffice it to say that you want to move up. I think this is good if you just want to use a relative measure of who gets traffic. For example, you now know, because I showed you the website, right, that at this ranking, I get about 123 unique visitors a month, at least for this month, right? That kind of gives you an idea. So if somebody ranks higher than me, higher is a lower number, right? Higher is a lower number. So if somebody ranks higher than me, well, you know they're getting that much more, okay? So it's a good relative measure. Get it? Good. Any other questions? Yes.
My book will be published probably by the 15th of March. Now within that, I have an opportunity within the next week to go into a studio and record 4 digital master CDs related to the book.
Sure.
Is that a good strategy?
Excellent strategy. Excellent strategy. Again, then you can package the book and the audio and then sell them together. And again, if you're going to sell them at an event, one of the things I learned is you don't sell your book at the event. You sell your audio and you'll throw in the book. Because what people will do is that they'll buy the book and say, I don't need the audio. So all you can charge for a book is $15, right? Here's another tip. This one's the money tip. Because I learned this when I was like, damn, that's good. See, I don't do books anymore. I do manuals. Why? Why? Yeah, because a book has a perceived value. $15, more or less, right? 20, 25 bucks, whatever. But a manual, that's a how-to. Well, that's a little more expensive. That's like 99 bucks, right?
Real stuff.
It's real stuff. Yeah, it's real stuff. I mean, it's more how-to. But that's why you see that a lot of people sell manuals and not books. It's a higher perceived value, right? You got it. You put the manual with the CD, and people want, and when you go to an event, just don't bring your book. If you're going to bring your book, just throw it in as a giveaway. But don't sell the book, because human nature will always take the path of least resistance. I'll say, I'll take the book because I can learn from there. Right? Good. Right here.
Okay, you said promote. I have a recording studio. If anybody wants to do their book, we just did it for 2 people last week.
Okay.
They flew in from Vegas.
Okay.
There you go.
Caustic Studio.
Caustic Studio. Got it. Okay.
You mentioned on pre-sales for books.
Right.
Okay. So let's just say we uploaded it to the site that you gave us.
Okay.
And we pre-sale because, for example, you never know how many you want to do.
Right.
So do you go how many pre-sales and then order a few extra to take it to wherever you're going?
Yeah, what I did on this last event, this big event that's coming up on, I think next Saturday, the 4th. God, I'm losing track of time. Is that up front I negotiated how many books they want. I said I need a 2-week window. Other than that, it closes, you can't order the books. I can't do it for you. I know that I have about a 10-day window, but I always say 2 weeks. And they said, you know, first it was like 200, then it went 300, 400, 500, and then it went up to 800. You know, and that's when I put in the order, 2 weeks before that. And so I always keep a reserve. I keep about 200 books in reserve because I give books away sometimes, many times, as my business card because I've noticed people just look at you differently when you hand them a book. And so when I do consulting and people say, well, I don't know if we want to do business right now, I understand. Well, here, why don't you have a copy of my book and read it, and it'll tell you a lot about me. And they shift.
Do you negotiate the cost of the books in with your fees?
Yes, I do. No, I get the fee first, right? What we did on the books is we sold them at $7 a book. When I bought them at $800, the price was $212, I think.
And so they were already, the pre-sale people were already paying you in advance.
Absolutely. Well, they didn't. They will when I get there. Okay, they paid 50% up front for my speaking fee. Absolutely. They're reimbursing me for the purchase of the book. And again, is $7? No, not really. I mean, when you're doing $800, you can make $5 on the book. It's $4,000 more to your pocket, you know, for a good 45-minute speech. For a damn good 45-minute speech, I might add. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Any other questions? Yes?
So, if you have more than one website on the same IP, that can reduce the ranking you said.
Right.
Now, let's say you've built up, you know, like my website is beachparker.com, just to
Right.
brand myself.
Right.
And it's on all my business cards that have gone out, so
Right.
I know that site. So if I was to try to get a more keyword-rich domain, would I be shooting my, because I can't shut down beachparker.com.
Right. Just like I can, by the way, I can't shut down the logicofsuccess.com because it ranks so high.
Right. So would they be working against each other then? If I, like, let's say I want to get improvspeaker.com.
Right. No, I mean, again, I have 20-plus sites. Each site generates its own traffic depending on the rankings. What I try to do is make sure that even though they're both motivational, is that it's dissimilar information. Okay? In other words, I don't just cookie cutter the information and copy it over and just rename the site. Okay? So I'll talk about leadership here. I'll talk about more motivation, but I do have some leadership programs. Do you see how I do it? So if you want to get the comedy side of your business, as we talked about, maybe you want to put something on for the comedy side and then another one for the college market, you know, which could be the main site you have now. What I did is I registered like top Hispanic speaker, top motivational speaker, top college speaker, top keynote speaker, and I just did different.
Do they all have a different layout, design, and everything?
Yes. I mean, it's not like radical, and I haven't modified those in about, I'm going to say 2 years, so they're a little dated. No. Some are similar in layout, but what I've noticed is I'm not banking on those sites, but they seem to pull in traffic. So, you know, again, you don't understand the search engines. It's a very complicated algorithm. You're trying to guess at what they're looking for. But the one thing you don't do is put deceptive information in there. You know, so I am a motivational speaker. You know, I am a trainer. That information is in there. What they don't like is when you put something that has nothing to do with your topic, but yet your keyword's saying that. What happens with a lot of people, the reason, by the way, the reason the 1 year mark is interesting as far as registering it for 1 year, what was happening in the past is that people would actually register a domain, right? Let's say leadership.com or leader something, whatever. They'd put that information on there, get the site indexed, okay? And as soon as it was indexed, they converted over to a not-so-healthy site, if you know what I mean. And that would torque the search engines off. That's why they're suspicious of 1 year sites. And what they do, you just can't get a site and put one page, like just the home page. That's a doorway page. And you will not get ranked on a doorway page. It has to have multiple pages underneath it.
And is that true also for one-page sales letter sites?
I think so. Absolutely.
So you'd have
Yeah.
pages.
I have sub-pages. If you see, I have like 3 sub-pages. One is frequently asked questions. one is my bio, and the other one is the content outline. Okay, so it's about 4 pages total. I never put up just one page. The only site that has one page, and now I know it's almost like a test site, is the Hispanic Report site. And it has all outbound links. Now, if that thing would start ranking high, my whole model would be blown. Because I'm doing everything wrong on that site, right? Because everything's outbound links, and there's no sub-pages underneath it, okay? There was another question over here. You got answers? We're good? You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's really something. I feel like I have several things, the research part, you come up with all these topics. And from what you're saying, I feel like I've done it all wrong because I need to focus on one thing and work with that one thing really well, as opposed to doing 2 or 3 things at one time.
What I was doing was, the thing is, Rick convinced me to do this seminar because I was telling Rick, I said, I don't want to do the college market anymore. I'm good at the internet marketing stuff. I don't really want to do it anymore. He says, I really want to focus in the sales. And, obviously he's a good salesman. No, let's do it. But my one thing, like I said, as the beginning of January, is just going to be sales training. So I'm consistent with my philosophy, say I'm just doing that, and that's it. And I think that is already starting to bear fruit because it allows you to brand yourself easier, and that's easier. So when you deal, am I right, Jay? So when you deal with, it's like she knows, she's got it. Okay, you're a sales guy, you're a sales trainer, sales motivator, bam, I got you. I can work with that. And when somebody comes to your site, I know what she does. As soon as I see your site, I have to know. I have to know. I don't have to guess. I don't want to guess. We don't have the patience. You ever see people click off pages? You do it, right? Don't we? Like, damn, I don't get this. Click. Frustration, right? Click. Frustration. And so, when we talk about flash, remember about not putting it in, let me ask you the question. How many times have you come across a site, somebody said, go to this site, and you went to it, and it had flash, and it loaded too slow? What'd you do? Boom. Later. Right? So in order to understand search engine marketing, understand how you search. And when you get it, you got it. Okay? Any other questions?
You have a question?
Yep.
You offer your book for free on your website?
For which one?
The Logic of Success?
Yeah, you can download it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go thelogicofsuccess.com/friends.htm. Your question.
Right. And you also sell it?
Yep.
And you speak?
Yep. Well, people want a hard copy. It's the same book. It's got a different cover, but a lot of people want a hard copy. A lot of people don't like reading the PDF. I'm just trying to hook people up who don't want to pay for it. Because you know what? The people who want the PDF for free most likely wouldn't buy it anyway. But let me tell you what happens. They download it and they forward it to a friend, right? And they share, which is what you want to create that. Remember the 100th monkey syndrome. You want that expansion. You want that tipping point thing to begin to happen. That's what you're looking at. It's viral. Put a meme out there, they share the information, that's what you want. And you could do it as well. You don't have to have a big book, just maybe a book, a tip on da-da-da. Here's a top 100 tips on how to do certain things. Bam. It's a free PDF file, put it up there, get the emails, grab them. Any other questions? Yes?
You know how you go on these websites that I guess it's a long sales pitch and it just
Yep.
goes on and on and on and on. For me, that I can't, I just didn't go to the bottom.
Yeah.
Are those websites very productive? Because you're seeing it a lot.
Right.
Is that a way to go? Should we just come up with these real long websites?
They did, the same company, I believe it was Inquiro, did a study on long sales letters and how effective they really are. And if you listen to the experts that I think study internet marketing, they'll tell you, no, long sales letters do not work. If you listen to internet marketing people, they say, oh, yeah, it works. Ooh, man, it's a charm. Got to build it up, Vic, got to build it up. But think about how you read. You don't read that stuff. I can't read a long letter unless it's a good story. So I try to keep mine, if you look at mine, I write words and I try to put pictures or block it somehow where it becomes easier to flow through. And I put the price real big at the bottom because that's what we all do. Tell me how much does it cost? Okay, I can afford that. Zoom back up to the top. Let me see if this makes sense. Isn't that what we do? But some of these, you got to look for the price. You're like, where the hell's the price? Right? And you're like mad as hell. Now you're not buying. I'm tired. Click. Gone. So, again, I believe in putting the price out there, letting them look at it, and that's what it is. But again, a lot of people say that a long sales letter is effective. Others say it's not. One of the best marketing research tools out there is a website called Marketing Sherpa. Sherpa.com. It's marketing. Last word is Sherpa, S-H-E-R-P-A. I love it. They do case studies that they send you every like 2-3 weeks. These are real-world case studies, corporate case studies. And they leave them open for like, I think like 30 days, and then they won't give you access anymore. You got to pay for them. If you go to Mr. Goodweb, it should be on there as a link also. But that is one of the best sites I've seen as far as giving me great information. And last point, on the Mr. Goodweb, there's a search engine marketing book that I had mentioned earlier by a guy named Mike Grimm that's on there. By the way, warning, if you're not a techie, do not buy it. If you're into search engine optimization, you like the technical stuff, buy that book. This is the gentleman that went out and actually interviewed people from Yahoo, AltaVista, Google, the actual programmers. That was the book that I read. I mean, I read a lot of the internet marketing stuff, but when I read his stuff, I was like, got it. Because to me, he put it in an engineering format that I could understand. So if you're techie, you like that stuff, there's your book. Yes?
You mentioned when you send out your kit, your pre-marketing things to college campuses and the things that they like. But when at the actual engagement, are there things that college students like, for you to give as giveaways when you come to speak, or is that not the time?
Yeah, and the question is, when I go to speak, do they like giveaways? That's the short question. They love giveaways. They love giveaways. But again, you don't want to go broke either, right? So what you can do, that's why when you get a college booking, you want to say, hey, look, I have books. Can I sell you a bulk for your students? It's only $100. I'll sell it to you for this price. You go to Instant Publisher, see how much it's going to cost you to order 100, right? And they go, make a small margin, don't get greedy, and just do that. As far as giveaways, yes, I mean, anything that you can give with your name on it, I think would be great. Anything that's playful is great. But again, a lot of stuff gets thrown in the trash, so don't spend too much money. I did that little postcard with the top 25 college job websites. Cost me hardly anything. So I would do that, because they're going to keep that. And if you notice it, I think I put my website in the middle. Do you know why? Because I didn't want these students to just cut off the bottom and post the website. So I put it in the middle so they couldn't cut me out. So little tip on marketing. Yes? Nobody? Sherpa, S-H-E-R-P-A.com. It's a great site. And they always pump out different studies, and it's reliable information. I mean, it's really good information. And by the way, when they do a case study, they actually take you to the website so you can see what these marketers did to draw traffic. But I mean, these are like corporate, Fortune 500 companies doing these strategies, and it's really great to learn at that level what they're doing. Let me grab Joe in the back, and then I'll come here.
Vic, you were talking about the alt tags on the graphics. Do you do that in front page?
Yes. On the alt, the tags for your pictures. Again, if you use Front Page, which is a program from Microsoft to actually edit your web page, if you do a right click, you'll see it in there. And then you can put the alt tags also, if you know how to use the HTML code, you can actually type it in there under description or keywords and stuff like that. But I usually right click on the picture as I'm designing my site, right click on the picture and add it in there. You'll look for properties, Joe. You'll find it in there. Question? Make it profitable. Make it, it's, for example, just giving a number, if we put out this program at more than $500, right, and you tell somebody, look, you got a big list, send it out to your list, you're going to get $250 per. I come up to you, you got a great list, right? You got like 10,000. Right.
And right now I've done it with women that have gone through our AU program.
Right.
I'm offering them $50 per head.
Right.
Are you saying send it out to my entire mailing list?
No. Find somebody within your market niche. Let's call it somebody sent me something, they were a CEO Women or something, it was an organization, right? I contact them, says, look, I got this great program for women. Is there any way that I can get you excited about blasting it out to your organization, which has about 5,000 members? And the way this benefits you is that I will give you 50% of my $400 program. And what does it cost you? Zero. All they do is click, and it's gone. Just give them the copy, and then just send it out, and that's how you do it. Some people will actually, the richer their list, the higher the percentage. And I think 50 is always if I got a great list, $30, $40, $50,000, I'm getting 50%, or you're not using my list. Because they don't want to exhaust the list. But you can't do this with a $30 deal, because they don't want to exhaust their list. You don't want to use the list too much, right? So you want to use it for a great deal. So what your job is now is to find a package that's worth reselling at a higher level. Maybe you can record one of your programs and, you know, whatever it may be with workbooks, and find that, you know, that organization. How do you do it? Type in women's issue. Type in whatever has to do with women. And the people who rank the highest or are using the pay-per-clicks, the people who are using the pay-per-clicks are actually your customers. Because these people are willing to spend money on pay-per-clicks. Why aren't they willing to make money off of your product so they can cover their pay-per-clicks? Get it? You do. I'm just saying, if she works with a company who's using pay-per-clicks, that means that company is predisposed to spend money, right? So they're also probably predisposed to probably make some of that back. Okay? Great.
Say you have 3 or 4 affiliates that you're using. How do you, and you're giving them all a percentage,
right,
whatever they bring in, how do you keep up with which customer comes from which referral?
What it is, if you use that oneshoppingcart.com, the question is, if I have everybody in here signs up for my affiliate program, right? How do I keep track of it? What it is that you go to the website, you click on my affiliate program link, you fill in your information, it assigns you a specific code, right? You put that code on your website, right? Victor's great programmer right here, right? Somebody clicks through that, and it comes into the site, and I believe it maintains that code for 30 days. So if they buy within that 30-day time frame, it remembers where it came from, sends you a notification, and then sends me the sale, right? At the end of the month, it has report generators, and you run a report at the end of the month on who you have to pay out. You can even set these alarms where it reminds you that you have to pay somebody. Okay? Back there. You had one?
You had mentioned that doing a book of quotes is a good idea.
Right.
Do you have any copyright issues with that?
I don't think so, because most of the, if you go, there's a lot of quote websites, and again, you're not making the quote yours. If you don't put the person's name, then you got an issue. But, you know, if you're Mark Twain, I don't think he's going to be after you. Do you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Ben Franklin, I think you're good. You know, so you can actually do the quote book, but also look at that, again, the public domain stuff on the Gutenberg project. Okay? Any other questions? All right. You guys have been great. Thank you very much.